one man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Look, let's move on to the US now. And Kamala Harris has sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a friendly interview today. It's as opposed to every other interview she's done. Here's some of what she had to say.
And I look around at these screens, Oprah, I look at who's in the room, and this is America.
This is
America. You know, I was saying with a group of friends earlier, I think in this moment where we've dealt with so much that I think is quite exhausting around powerful forces that would try and divide us and try us to have us as Americans pointing fingers at each other.
Yes.
That this movement that is about reminding each other that we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Tina, do you have any idea what she's on about? I mean, at least she wasn't talking about the middle class and being on the middle class
she
again.
looks like she's on some drug, but Oprah had no idea either. But the good news is, ignore all that polling. I've got some pretty good contacts in Washington, and I'll tell you now, Trump will win. Where he needs to be in front, he's in front, and he'll keep his nose in front.
Okay, well, Tanya, you feeling as confident because a new national poll today has them pretty much tied on 47%. Do you share Tina's
I share
confidence in Trump?
Tina's confidence, and I think, look, you know, there's nothing worse than having a Californian interviewing another Californian, okay? I mean, that's not where the election's going to be decided.
True.
It's going to be decided in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, you know, those states where people are doing it tough, okay? And they don't care what celebrities think.
They don't care what celebrities think. No, they don't at all. Welcome for round two. We've got the Indiana, Pennsylvania rally coming up in about 20 minutes. But I want to talk to you about Kamala Harris's really bad day. And I mean a really bad day. So what you just heard there was, I think it was Australian maybe it was England. I don't know my accents very well. Internationally, people are laughing at her. At this point, she is a laughing stock. But her day went downhill from there. So let's see what happened.
But the bottom line here, when you look at a metric like grocery prices, they're up still 20% compared to 4 years ago. And Harris was asked recently on the debate stage whether she thinks Americans are better off now than 4 years ago. And she didn't directly answer that question. So I'll ask you, does she think Americans are better off now or not?
A few moments later.
And so when it comes
so what the... Hey, do you think she's better off later? She's been asked this question, just so you know, probably 4 or 5 times. But at the debate, she's been asked at Oprah's interviewee thingy, whatever it was, hey, listen, are people better off now or, 4 years ago? Pretty simple question. Obviously, at this point, we know what the answer is. I love it here that CNN basically traps this guy in a corner who's her national sports spokesperson, whatever, and she doesn't let him out the bear trap.
Up on the question
when
again.
It comes to high prices for people, the choice in the election is also very clear, and she's going to keep talking about her plans to bring down those grocery costs while Donald Trump is going to explode them.
But let me just follow up then on that, because you said her plan to bring down grocery costs. As you know, Republicans would argue, well, they've gone up under the Biden-Harris administration. I'll ask the question again.
Beta Cuck boy here doesn't know what to do. Right now he wishes he was on Southwest Airlines because he definitely wants to get away. They put this guy out there. Just take a second and look at him. This is the white dudes for Harris. He's the prototype. And this woman on CNN, I forget her name, Brianna, isn't going to let him off the hook. Not at all. You're going to have to deal with this, buddy.
And does she think Americans are better off now than 4 years ago?
Second time she's had to ask him this in this one interview. You know it's bad when a reporter on CNN is drilling the Democrat candidate's spokesperson. Why? Because the Democrat candidate herself won't even give the answer. So this poor guy is now being asked the same question again. Specifically, are people better off now or were they better off 4 years ago?
Well, I think when people are running for president, they want to see, what are you going to do for me? And it's not a retrospective question. It's actually a forward-looking question. And that's why she says we're not going back. She doesn't want people even remembering. She wants to do the Vulcan mind meld and say, hey, listen, don't remember how it used to be. Just look forward to how bad I'm going to make it for you. She's doing on the campaign trail every day is saying, I understand that we have to go further for people. There are still too many people out there who are hurting. Yes, inflation has eased a little bit and prices are...
Can you take a look at the woman from CNN who just looks like she wants to just give him the backhand? Man.
Starting to come down. But man, we've got to go even further. And when you look at the choice on the ballot in November, it's either me or it's Donald Trump.
Take it from the voters you need.
This is S.E. Culp on another of CNN's show, and she's had it as well. She's like, you got to talk to people. You just can't just ignore everybody.
She needs more interviews.
But can I ask you, S.E. Culp, can I say to you, then where is Trump having those real hard-hitting interviews where he says, I'm going to mass deport 11 million people, but he doesn't actually explain that?
Trump's doing a rally tonight. In fact, when he talked this afternoon with the farmers group, what did he do at the end of the farmers group? Y'all got any questions out there? Unscripted, boom. They don't even want you to think that Trump is taking questions. They're trying to just more gaslighting. Hey, he doesn't do it, so why should we? And he does it all the time.
They have to explain every nuance of every policy.
First of all, he does a ton of interviews.
Absolutely, but he doesn't answer a lot of questions.
What is the plan?
Yeah. Okay.
The Kamala Harris.
This guy gets to talking. Tampon Tim gets a question put to him. Tim, can you let us know what's going on?
Tim Walz's plan to help our community with everything, gas prices, food, insurance, childcare. What's the plan?
Exactly. Okay, reporter says, what are you going to do about my pocketbook? Gas prices, food, insurance. What are you going to do, Tim? You going to unburden us?
Exactly right. Well, first of all, we know that this community is a critical part of our economy in all aspects, all across it. And I think the one thing Vice President Harris talks about is an opportunity economy. And what that means is everybody gets a shot. Starts out with making sure things like home ownership are more affordable. When you have more houses out there, she's talking about 3 million houses, some down payment assistance. And then talking about those things that we really matter. You're talking about grocery price and things. What we know is it's things when you target tax cuts like the child tax credit to the middle class, that cut poverty in half for the community. She wants to make that permanent. That's $6,000 a year. And what that allows you to buy formula, allows you to buy...
No, it doesn't. These people don't even have an idea how tax credits work. It doesn't allow you to buy any formula. You can't walk into Publix, the grocery stores down here, and say, listen, I got this tax credit from Kamala. I'd like to get a couple cases of that, baby formula. I'm sorry, sir, we don't take tax credits. We take cash, maybe some Bitcoin, maybe even some gold. Tax credits? No, we don't take that here. Well, where can I spend this? You can't. And that's why some people are just completely you can't take these people serious, because this guy, the guy asking the questions said, how are we going to do this with grocery prices, blah, 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 blah. And their thing is, it's an opportunity economy. Everyone's going to have the opportunity and blah, 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 blah. And, you'll get some tax credits. Do you understand how a tax credit works, Tim? Tim, a tax credit means you're filing it on April 15th and you're hoping to take something off of what you're stealing from me to begin with. So if you're stealing $3,000 from me and I have, some money left over, then next April 2025, then you might be able to, buy some baby formula. Tim, what the hell am I supposed to do? It's September. How are you going to put money back in my pocket? And by the way, April 15th is when you have to file, so you're hoping maybe you go to, H&R Block and get an instant refund or something, maybe get it, the first week of May. Who knows? It's September. Tell me how I'm going to get little Buffy some baby formula. And the only thing you're telling me is that you're going to get a tax credit. What about the people, most of the people that Kamala represents who don't pay any taxes? How are they going to pay for baby formula? And I'm waiting for a reporter to basically just say that and go, Tim, it's bullshit, man. These people need to go to the grocery store this Friday. When they go to the grocery store this Friday, they cannot plunk down a tax credit. When they go next Friday, they can't plunk down a tax credit. When they go to pay their rent, they can't say, can I give you a tax credit? No. How about when you go to gas? Go to Shell. Will you take a tax credit? No. They're lying to the American public, and you've got to be a complete dunce to be buying into this crap.
Food for your kids. And then I think that idea about those daily things of drug prices and things, making sure that those are capped. But I think the biggest thing is making sure that we're not giving tax cuts to the wealthiest while we cut programs across.
No, the big thing is the rank and file people in this country can't afford to do anything. And the big thing is we can't give tax credits to those rich people because, oh my God, next April when they file or if they get an extension or whatever, what? Answer the question. How are you going to make the economy better for the rank and file everyday American?
There are things like good public schools investing in, and the child care one of making sure that we cap. She's a proposal out there that you don't pay any more than 7% on child care. It's really difficult for folks to do that.
You ever notice that the people who talk about child care credit don't have any? He's got a few. Kamala doesn't have any. She has no idea what the hell she's talking about or how these people are going to make ends meet. Yet they're still voting for her. There's still Democrats who say, listen, it's better than the Orange Man. You've got these actors and actresses talking about voting for Kamala, and nobody's making any sense. And I figure that basically I'm thinking that what's going to happen with this whole thing with Diddy, the FBI has taken control of the whole Diddy investigation, which means they're going to be the ones compiling all these videos. Which means blackmail material. get out there and do the shuck and jive for Kamala, or this, I don't know, this video may drop on you. Because none of this is making any sense. And I, for the life of me, can't understand how any American is buying into this crap.
Electra Janis is the vice chair of the Washington County Board of Commissioners. A 28-year-old Republican voting for Trump, she thinks that Trump can keep the gains he made with younger voters when Biden was still in the race.
I will say when I'm voting for President Trump, I'm not voting for a person. I'm voting for his policies. Their volunteer base has grown in Pennsylvania significantly. And I think what they need to do is get the young, passionate, motivated individuals out there seeking other young individuals to do the same.
For that, the Trump campaign is turning to people like Stephen Kale. Did you ever expect to be working on a political campaign?
I did not, no.
The 33-year-old service technician from outside Pittsburgh was motivated to knock doors after he witnessed the former president get shot at his Butler rally in July.
What I saw that day, I just wanted to help out.
For Kale, that means outworking Harris volunteers and staying on message with younger voters as much as possible.
I start off by talking about the economy, their cost of living, especially if they're in college, paying higher prices.
You know the stuff people care about? This guy sees President Trump get shot, says, I got to go with this guy, which a lot of young men have seen as well. They love the idea of him saying, fight, fight, fight. And then the first thing he says out of his mouth is about everyday living expenses, which Kamala can't even address.
Prices for gas, utilities.
Other things that we should know.
Oh, watch this. Jim Acosta just about throws up on himself here.
Oh, and I don't know if we can show this number. I want to put this up on screen. Latino voters have moved away from Harris in Arizona. If you believe this New York Times poll, her lead has shrunk by 11 points in that voting bloc. She was at 60% in August, now 49% now.
It's happening, people. When CNN is out there talking about her imploding, it's really happening. Remember, a couple days ago, I told you, you're going to begin seeing some of these pollsters who have been lying for months all of a sudden start reporting real data. Once you get into that 30-day window, all of the lies have to correct themselves. And now what we're seeing is some of these pollsters are out there going, yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, the script is flipped. What do you mean she dropped by 11 points? Well, because the other shit we were telling you was a lie to begin with, and you guys fell for it. So now that you're seeing the real data, yeah, she's in really big trouble. And now certain people in the media are like, are you kidding me? How did she drop 11 points? Because she was never up by 11 points. It was all fake. It was a grand illusion, and now people are seeing it, and they're like, oh my God, it's imploding. And then every single day, more and more stuff comes out about her.
Venezuela is making billions of dollars. We're buying their oil. They make a fortune. I'd stop everything, probably stop it anyway. I'll force them down their throat.
So Trump goes on Fox this morning, and they're talking, how are you going to get these people to accept all these people to get deported back? I'll force them down their throats.
And it would be very easy to handle. They make hundreds of billions of dollars on trade. I would announce that if they don't take them back, we're going to increase the tariffs on China.
All right. So Trump's out there saying they're all going back. I don't care what you got to say, how you feel about it. They're all going back. And if they don't go back, we're going to force them down your throat. And then if you still have a problem, we're just going to tariff you to death. We're gonna tariff you into extinction. You are going to take these people back, whether you like it or not. Get out. I bet you'll see, hopefully when Trump wins, you'll see a lot of self-deportations. That would be the thing I like to see. So this next cut, you're gonna laugh your butt off. This is your border czar. This is your border czar before she became the border czar. And she's out here carousing with some, to the river to the sea nut jobs, and they're talking about deportation. So this is the person who was in charge of making sure that the border was secure. Wonder what her mindset is.
Down with deportation, up with education, 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 down with deportation.
She ain't talking about deporting a single person. Did Biden not realize this when he appointed her the so-called border czar? That there's videos, and there are lots of videos out there with her dancing in the street, doing her little shaking her tush, talking about we ain't deporting nobody, down with deportation. This is your border czar.
Up with education, down with deportation. Up with education, down.
Seriously. This is who you put in charge?
Down with deportation, up with education, down with deportation, up with education.
Now stay tuned. It's going to go by fast. I'm going to get off screen because you're about to see the most truthful statement ever about the Kamala Harris campaign, and it's going to be made by none other than Tim Walz. So let's watch this.
Down with deportation, up with education, down with deportation, up with education, down with deportation,
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
We can't afford 4 more years of this, says the guy whose partner has been the one in charge for 4 years. Talk about a Freudian slip. Trump has got to use that in an ad. We can't afford 4 more years of this. You're absolutely right, dude. You nailed it on that one. You absolutely nailed it. Proud of you for coming forward and telling the truth. All right, so we're getting ready for the rally. We got about 10 minutes. Let's do some talking. Let's get some thing. You said it right, buddy. You and Obama. Yeah, we can't afford 4 more years of this. That needs to be played on a loop. He needs to create a website with a link, no more for 4 years, and just play it, and then have her dancing in the background. Oh yeah, down with deportation. It's your job. You're the person in charge of deportations, and you're like, no deportations. Seriously. I mean, we're looking at a clown show. No wonder she won't do any interviews. No wonder she won't get out there and do that charity dinner. I think Trump did use it. I hope he did. That's a good short. Yeah, we'll just play it over and over and over again. We couldn't agree more with you, Tampon Tim. Absolutely. Texas Patriot here. Yes. Mass deportation necessary fast. They can have their baby removal. You guys are funny. He is running it. Okay, good. You guys have seen it because that's an awesome spot to just include. So I'm looking at the rallies. Look packed. Let me go over a couple things that happened today, also, which are of some interest as I'm watching this. Let's see what we got here. Boom. Donald Trump has just received the endorsement of the Polish community in Pennsylvania. There are more than 800,000 Polish Pennsylvanians, so this is a huge endorsement. Okay, the pierogi squad came through. Gotta like that. Now, I saw this by Kamala Harris. The reason why I'm going to show this to you, because it's really funny. We all know she's been lying her butt off. Absolutely lying all the time. She should be community noted on a daily basis. Donald Trump wants to impose a Trump sales tax on everyday basic necessities. It'll cost the average American family nearly $4,000 a year. My plan would build an opportunity economy that puts workers and families first, so Americans cannot just get by but get ahead. Have you heard about the Trump sales tax? Me neither. Neither did most of these people. That's a made-up number, one of the many things fabricated about this campaign. Here's the truth. The lie, Trump will cost Americans $3,900 a year. The truth, this is a made-up number economists disagree with, and Kamala is the one raising prices. Growing up with my Uncle Don, I knew he should be near the Oval Office in 2022. I founded the... Oh, this is an ad. Never mind. What plan do you have? I grew up in the middle class. I come from the middle class family is how you answer when asked about a plan. Why don't you do it now or before? You've had 3.5 years in office. We can't afford 4 more years of this. Bring back the mean tweets and the cheap gas. No one believes you. This is why. This is what I was telling you before about getting in the game and getting engaged. When you go on her page, every time she even says anything, people are blasting her. This guy puts up a chart. Next one, Philip Anderson. This is a blatant lie. All you do is lie your butt off. It's ridiculous. A tariff on imported goods in exchange for abolishing the federal income tax is actually supported by a majority of Americans. I would love not to have to pay any income tax. The American people have spent 3.5 years under you and your administration, and we all know what it feels like to buy groceries and get gas every week. We can't afford you. She gets blasted. I mean, just blasted constantly. It just doesn't end. It never ends. Breaking news. Got some breaking news here. Breaking news is Donald Trump will return to Butler, Pennsylvania October 5th for a rally exactly 1 month before Election Day. He's heading back to the scene of the crime. Gotta love that. NBC News actually broke the information. Trump to rally next month in Pennsylvania City, where his first attempt occurred. The former president was shot in the ear during an assassination attempt at a campaign rally in Butler on July 13th. That's going to be massive. That is going to be one huge event. Huge. I mean, smoking huge how big that thing will be. And then this information came out today. Breaking: Luzerne County, a long-standing Democratic stronghold in the key swing state of Pennsylvania, has officially flipped to the Republican Party for the first time in over 4 decades. I told you it was a bad day for Kamala. I mean, a really, really, really bad day. Like, bad day to the point of like, oh my God, bad day. The hit, and it's only 6:30 or 7 o'clock, so there's still more time for this day to evolve to become even worse. John W., he's going to sing even on Obama. He's a goner. I think he's talking about Diddy. Remember when she said if she got in as president, she'd close the border? She said that at the debate. Ain't ever happening. Trump is doing what he said he would do. No, you did not miss the berry dance. Miss Robin has been ill. She's been sick. And as soon as she feels better, we'll go ahead and get it filmed out on the patio. So it's coming. It's coming. Travis. Hey, Travis, haven't seen you in a bit. I used to live in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. Very nice. Yes, everyone should basically, like John Hale says here, thank Scott Pressler. Scott Pressler has done a fantastic job registering people to vote. He's turning Pennsylvania. No no more 4 years of ridiculous, shameful news videos. I concur with that. Where's this? I'm still trying to understand X. It's going slow for me. It's actually very, very simple. And the biggest key, and I'll do a class, I'm not going to charge anybody, I'll just do a real impromptu class and show you. It was funny, somebody texted me today and like, I got restricted, they turned me off, said I couldn't do anything for 3 hours. I told them, that's because you're just doing it over and over and over and over again. Every single second, it's saying the same thing. That's called spam. Got to change it up. Change your wording, take a breath, hit it again, just pace yourself. It's going to be fine. You're doing great. You're out there. It's a learning curve. Just breathe deep. Change up your wording. Don't just put in a whole bunch of people's handles and say, hey, talk to these people. No, just like you're talking to me. Hey, Barry, I think Kamala sucks. Okay, thank you. Just talk. Trump, no more morning Joe. The Queen has spoken. He turned Louisiana too. He's got efforts all over. I thought Louisiana was Trump country. I always thought it was. Ashley says it's Robin, not me, but thank you. I hope she feels better. Seen a lot of Trump signs in Scranton, Joe's hometown. No more Subway water cup area. I like I like the Yeti upgrade. So you guys notice everything. Yeah, it's. I don't know how you saw it. Is the Yeti thing on the bottom? Is that what you saw? Wait a second. Let me see if I remove that. Can you see Yeti? Only if I go real high. So you just recognized it just from the fact of me holding it right here. Good eyes, man. Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. October 5th. Somebody said October 5th outside. Yeah, it's going to be October 5th outside. He'll be ensconced in glass, that's for sure. So, hopefully everything will go, God's got him. Okay. But obviously, as you see in the poll, most of you, almost unanimously, think that the DOJ is involved in some of this stuff. It's hard not to. Very hard not to. I mean, really some stuff going on that really makes you turn your head and go, really? Really? Yeah. Do you think Trump is better protected now? There was something in that would-be guy's letter that kind of got to me. Until I saw the breaking news, those of you who saw what I posted earlier today, I didn't know Trump's October schedule. I didn't know most of Trump's September schedule. They only release it a couple days in advance. Who would know Trump's September schedule in advance? Who would know Trump's October schedule in advance before it's revealed to the public? That's concerning to me. That tells me somebody on the inside, don't know if it's his security, don't know if it's Homeland Security in terms of Mayorkas' office, don't know. But somebody was telling this guy, or somehow he got the information of Trump's movements in September and August and October. Now, as of today, now we know there's an October 5th rally in Butler. That's all that's been made public. Who knows where he's going in October and what he's doing is probably kept to a very small circle of people. Somebody's leaking. Yeah, it's not hard and it's not conspiratorial to think that somebody is leaking. Who knows? I'm sure they're looking at it now. Who knew this? Who knew that? Who knew when this would be this way? Checking cell phone records. Did anyone... A true investigative agency like the FBI or CIA, this wouldn't be hard to figure out. Somebody in that organization, that circle of people, I'm sure Dan Bongino could find out who's talking. You never know. Chad says, let's see here, what's this? I don't trust the Speaker of the House. Yeah. The DOJ broadcasted the ransom note of the Wood. It wasn't a ransom note. It was a bounty. It was an actual bounty. The Amish in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, have Trump stickers and Trump flags on their buggies. That is so friggin' cool. Bongino said people know where Trump is before he even knows where he's going to be. I could believe that because whoever's booking the venues, they know when they confirm it. So whoever booked wherever he's going to be in Butler, they already know what day, where it's going to be, and travel arrangements and everything. They know that. He may not even know yet. And so somebody does know before he knows. Are they hacking into the computer? I don't know. But something ain't right. I'm telling you, something ain't right. And it pains me to say this, but I don't think we've seen the last of it yet. I really don't. It has to be Garland. Could be Garland, yeah. Certain Trump has Dan Bongino reviewing every Social Security agent and others. But it may not be a Secret Service agent. May not be one of them. They only get their orders, I would assume, not too far in advance that they need to know. I think you'd want to keep that information kind of closely held until it was time to release them. let's see, they got the mole is in the security and campaign staff. Yeah, something's going on. Something is definitely going on. People protecting him knows every move for sure, but they won't know it a month in advance. There's an advance team. Like, say right now, he has just announced that he's holding an event in Butler, Pennsylvania on October 5th. I don't know how soon they would go out, but the advance team would go out, let's just say it's a week in advance, and begin coordinating with the local law enforcement and walking the scene and everything. I doubt he's going to hold it at the same venue. Although maybe that venue would probably be the safest venue to go to right now, because every square inch of it, everybody knows, including the water tower. I mean, so everybody knows that venue, and they've been all over it with a fine-tooth comb. That might be the place that he goes back to. Waiting for Trump to take the stage. Iranian connection. Nobody's talking. The only information we got from the Department of Justice is, hey, here's $150,000 if anybody wants to take him out. Other than that, we don't know nothing. No one has even asked the question, hey man, this guy got 150 grand available? And again, as I said earlier, that was in a box a month before he did his deed. So in that period of time when he was doing things, where's the money? How did he travel? What did he do? We don't get to know anything. Nobody tells us anything. I truly wish he would just get a bunch of elite military guys to protect him. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah. Let's see. I'm sure their offices are swept daily for bugs. But even that didn't work. Remember just last week, they found out that they were hacked by the Iranians who gave all the information to Kamala. Maybe that hack was from a while ago, and they were able to determine where he was going to be. And they said they gave it to Kamala, but they also, if they gave it to Kamala's team, then that means they had it as well. Maybe in there was some movement. Maybe in there was some itineraries. And they gave Kamala the information, but maybe they took some of it for themselves. No doubt. No doubt. Confirmed hack into this election and sent to MSN, who claims they didn't open it. They're waiting for what? What's the October surprise stuff? Yeah. 150 grand is small change to the deep state. Yeah, it is. Very, very, very strange. Let's see. Somebody says Dan Bongino was all over it today. Yeah. Mm-hmm. None of it makes any sense, man. Kind of scary. And the more that things start turning against her, I mean, when you start looking at things and realize that she is not doing well at all, and now they're starting to drop the real information. And it was funny because a bunch of people texted me or DM'd me on Twitter like, you were right. And like, it's not a matter of being wrong or right. You just know that these people are in business to take money, and eventually they have to look out for their own credibility. If you go into like the last 30 days going, oh, it's tied, everything looks good, Kamala's up by 2 or 3 points. And then people a week later, like Jim McConnell, what do you mean she's down 11 with Hispanics? Yeah, we had to finally tell the truth. She's down 11. So until anybody decides that they want to address what I've been saying for months now, you tell me mathematically how she makes up the ground with the Hispanics and the blacks. Because until somebody can address that and say, okay, here's what you're not getting, Barry, in terms with the black vote and the Hispanic. All right, talk to me about the math. Because I can read 2016, I can read 2020, I can even go back to 2012, and I can see what the black vote percentages were for the Democrat candidate. And now I see her lagging way behind. I'm all ears. You tell me how she makes up 25% in the black community. You tell me how she makes up 19% in the Hispanic. I'd love to hear it. You know, when I talk to people and I challenge them with that, that's just easy. Just show me. Show me with your own numbers how somebody can make up those numbers and still win. Oh, well, then again, I know what you're thinking. That's where the cheat comes in. But I don't think you can. I don't think you can create that much of a difference with these people, especially in some of these states like Georgia just came out and everything has to match. You're not just going to be able to stuff the ballots and say, "Oh, we just found 30,000 ballots for Kamala." So that's my thinking on it. Barry, what happened to the football content, man? Have you seen that team play lately? Yeah, I mean seriously, have you watched that crappy ass team play? I told y'all, I told you a year ago how shitty the Dolphins were and how crappy the coach was and how bad that quarterback was. I told y'all. And y'all said, "Oh, Barry, you're such a negative Nelly. You're so negative." Now you know. Hello from Montana. Hello for you as well. I don't understand how 70% of the black community consistently votes blue. So 7 out of 10, huh? Brainwashed. They don't even see the other messaging. They listen to the pastors, they listen to the teachers, they listen to the business in those areas. And I don't know if you saw some of the videos that happened last night in Philadelphia. Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, go on Twitter and X rather, and look up what happened in Philadelphia. It looked like the movie The Purge. They had taken over the city. They were just raising their havoc, doing it again. And yet they'll vote Democrat. You got people in Kensington. They look like The Walking Dead. Completely zombied out. I'm not even allowed to show it here. Go look up videos on Kensington in Philadelphia area. Let me see if I can find one. Maybe I can show you the link without showing you the video. And you can look at it for yourself. Kensington, Philadelphia. Because it's the saddest stuff you'd ever want to see. Here's a guy. I won't show the video. But I'll show you the link to it in a second here. This guy has done a walking tour. See, I can show you still. So let's just do this. Let me just show you this. This is what Kensington, Philadelphia looks like. I can't move it. I can't show you anymore because it's someone else's video. But that's what it looks like. All you have to do is put in American City of Zombies, Kensington, Philadelphia. American City of Zombies, right there. That's not a third world country. That's not Mexico. That's Philadelphia. That's Philadelphia where they're saying it is a toss-up state. And a huge swath of neighborhood in this area of Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, looks like Zombieville. Absolute Zombieville. Your heart will break when you see people just standing like this or like this, bent over. You'll see women and men, couples just zombied out. Right in Philadelphia. One of the biggest, if not the biggest city in the state. And you're telling me Josh Shapiro is well liked? You're telling me this state is close? And we've got zombie people? It's really bad. I mean, like, really bad. Let me see if I can do this, because if I do this, I'm not showing video, so I can't get, oh yeah, there we go. There we go. You can get some of this real quick. Okay. These are some of the images that are of this city. Can you guys see this? Look at that. That's what I mean. You get that lean look. You get that lean where people are all leaned over. That guy's not walking. That guy's just complete zombied out. And there's just pictures and pictures of these people. Look at this one. This guy's just bent over. Just completely bent over. Let me see some more here. And the trash and everything else. Look at this picture right here. Wow, look at that. let me see if I can bring that over a little bit better so you can see it. This one right here. Look at these people. Unbelievable. Look at that. Bent over, just sitting in the street, complete zombies. Go ahead and just Google that. Google it yourself, and you'll be able to see real life zombies in America. You'd never think you'd see it. And then when you see these things, you're like, how in the hell can this area be a Democrat area? Makes no sense. Notice Kamala never talks about it. They don't mention that. Josh Shapiro probably doesn't even go there. And this hasn't been something that's happened like in the last couple months. This is I said it off the top of my head. I've known this area for years. So when people say, how do they vote for a Democrat every year? I don't know. Drugs are cheap in most cities. It's crazy. Somebody says, I used to, where is that? That's what the government did. Somebody said I used to, okay, here. It says, I used to work off Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. It takes 20 minutes to drive 1 block. It's so sad, worse than any zombie movie you'll ever see. There's one guy, basically what Mr. Stacy says here. There's a guy who's got a video, no talking. He just has his camera in his car, and he's just driving and driving. Like he says, like 20 minutes, it's like a 20-minute video, and he's just holding up a camera. You're seeing it from a first-person perspective, so all you're seeing is out there. And it's heartbreaking. Trash, people laying in the street, women doing whatever they have to do to get what they want. Just right there, right in front of you. This is in Philadelphia. So the question that you're asking is how can people keep voting for it? I don't know. Think about what happened in Chicago over the weekend. What was Chicago's numbers this week? So it's Monday. Do we have Chicago's numbers? Let's look at how many people shot in Chicago. How many shot? As we wait for Trump to take the stage. These numbers just always astound me when they show these things. I'm trying to find it, but I bet you it's in the 40s or 50s. You have to really look sometimes because you can't find it. Oh, that was 4th of July weekend. Well, you can search it, but over 4th of July weekend, 109 people, and it happens every single weekend without fail. 30, 50, 60, 70, 90, 109. Just happens. Sorry, people getting shot. Democrat stronghold. Makes no sense. How these people live like that. I don't know how you would live having to make sure your kids don't go near the windows because something might come flying through. And these people live like this every single day. It's not racist. It's not racist to call it out. They did that so that people wouldn't talk about it. And now, if you make it a point and say, hey, what's going on in Chicago? I understand that, a bunch of people got wasted this weekend. Oh, you're racist. Oh, you're so bad. You're so bad. Wow, somebody said it was 43 this weekend. 43 people. Barry, you should have a job on Fox. You're right. I live in North Philly. I see them every day. That pisses me off. That's why I do what I do. I know that doesn't get brought out to most of you. Those of you who live in these areas, Chicago or Philadelphia, and you see it on a daily basis, they keep it quiet. They keep it out of the headlines. They'll talk about stupid stuff on television, including Fox. There are some shows some stories they do on Fox, and I'm like, what are you talking about? There are zombies walking through Kensington. There are kids being shot all over Chicago. Let's not talk about that. Louisiana has always been red Trump. Yeah, I thought so. This is why it upsets me when I see people donate money out of the United States, especially celebrities like Oprah. I left the church. There was a huge church that Robin and I used to go to. And, I mean, when I say huge, 2,000 people every service, 4 or 5 services a weekend, 10, 15,000 people, raising all kinds of money, tens of thousands of dollars. Oh, okay, well, we're going to, it's noble, but you're going to teach the people over in Uganda about water and everything else. And you're going to send people over there. You're going to send them to Panama. You're going to send them here. I'm like, how about you send them into West Palm Beach? Your church is not, basically 15 miles from ground zero. Ground zero meaning where all the crap happens in West Palm Beach. Where people are out there doing flocka and flipping around in the street. People living out of supermarket carts. How about going down there and help them? You're exactly right. That drives me crazy when I see churches doing everything for places everywhere else instead of right down the road from where your church is. Do you not realize how many people are hurting and hungry right by your church? You could just send a bus over and pick them up. Hey, you want to come to church? We'll give you a shower and get you something to eat. All right. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, look, better than sitting here on the street. I ain't got nothing to do. So we're going to give you a shower. We'll get you some new clothes. We'll get you something to eat. And we'll see if we can't counsel you into getting into some place. Get you cleaned up. Nope. I mean, that church did have a jailhouse ministry, but it was pretty simple because you could go visit and then go home because those people ain't going nowhere. So, I mean, you're bringing a word to them. That's fine. That's great. But why don't you just do that before they get in the big pokey? Why don't you go talk to people in downtown West Palm Beach and see what happens? I don't know. Is Flocka back too? Yeah, I don't know if it ever went anywhere. It's crazy. Barry, what are you drinking? Jamaican rum and coke? Oh man, I've had my overproof days are long gone. If those of you don't know, if you've never tasted overproof Jamaican rum, this rum was so bad when we were kids. My mom used to rub it on our chest when we had a cold. That's how crazy this rum was. It's called overproof. I don't even know what it was. Once you taste it, it tastes like you're drinking battery acid. And you get it like that. Woo! You start getting dizzy and stuff. But no more of that stuff. That's the old Barry. Hello from New England. Hey, what part of New England are you from? Still waiting for Trump at 7:24. He has not made his arrival yet. Pastors used to live in those neighborhoods. Yeah, a lot of them. They used to live in those neighborhoods, and a lot of the people that they are with is from there. Ashley just said, my goodness, we just got a huge donation from Gasworks. And Gasworks, I will acknowledge all the donations after the show, but in case you leave early, brother, thank you. That goes a long, long way for some of the stuff that we do here. Thank you very much, Gasworks. It's amazing. Ashley says, someone asked to explain what a deep state conspiracy means. Some of y'all want to explain that in the chat so I don't get in trouble? All right, so deep state conspiracy is something in my mind isn't really that much of a conspiracy anymore. You can go all the way back to November of 1963 when a certain president was riding down the road in an open convertible car and his brains got exploded all over the car and his pretty little wife had to try and put him back in his head. That was 1963. Today is September 23rd, 2024. 61 years. 61 years coming up on the anniversary of it. They've been telling us that, it was a conspiracy theory. what you think happened didn't happen. All right, prove it. Oh, we can't show you. Oh, no, we can't tell you what happened. Oh, God, no, because if we told you what happened, then you would realize it was real what you were thinking. That's a deep state conspiracy theory. When they tell you what you're thinking is, you're whacked. But then when you say, okay, show me. No, we can't do that. Okay. Where's the money going that you lost in the Department of Defense, the $2 trillion? You just lost it? Nobody found it? How do you lose $2 trillion? Let me just ask someone in the government that. How do you lose $2 trillion? I lose $50 and I'm freaking out. Where'd that $50 bill go? I had a $50 bill in my pocket and now I can't find it. I'm tearing stuff apart looking for a $50 bill. You lost $2 trillion that wasn't your money. It was the American people's money. Where'd it go? Oh, you're just being a conspiracy theorist. No answers. A deep state conspiracy is based upon something that you know, but you're not told the information for. Robin just texted me and she's like, how about the, visitors? How come we don't know about what's happened at Area 51? Why are we left to try and come up with it ourselves? People all the time, hey man, there was something flying around. Hey, did you see that in the sky? There was something that was hovering, and then it disappeared. It was gone. Why can't we know that? Why is it every once in a while I see Tucker or somebody talk about it? Why don't we know? What is it we can't handle? What don't you want us to know about UFOs? I don't know. But see, the fact of those of us who have dug into some of this stuff, I'm not big on the UFO stuff because I told you before, it don't really bother me. Robin is. She's really big into UFOs. But I'll tell you the biggest one. Forget Kennedy. Forget UFOs. The biggest supposed conspiracy theory is, where the hell are all these kids? Going back to the time when I was a kid and we would see him on the milk carton. Oh, little Scotty's missing. Yeah, where is he? Oh, we don't know? No. Hey, there's 300,000. We keep hearing that number 300,000 these days, and it's got to be close to 500,000 or 600,000 at this point. Where they at? How do you lose 500,000 kids? Oh, you're being one of those conspiracy theorists. Well, help me out. How do you lose 500,000 kids? That's what a deep state conspiracy is. When you know, but you're told you don't know. When you see what's happening with that rapper guy, and you hear some of the stuff that's been coming out, there's two problems with everything associated with Diddy in my mind. Two really big problems. Number one, how did it go on for so long? Answer that. That would be the first question I would ask. You telling me all these people, you remember 1,000 bottles of lube? That's one hell of a party. 1,000 bottles of lube. How many drops of lube do you use in one encounter? And you had 1,000 bottles of it. Okay, so that means there's a lot of friggin' people that were coming and going, right? For how long? There ain't nothing like a Diddy party. Oh, I bet. I bet. It was funny before. Hell, there ain't nothing like a Diddy party. Yeah. Now, things are happening with him. And, nothing. I had talked last night about a video with a woman from ABC News. And in that video, the woman from ABC News said, I had it all. I had it all, and they wouldn't let me talk about it. Well, somebody went and after we talked about it, love you guys. Love that you're digging and doing your homework. Somebody went and found it, and it was Amy Roback from ABC News. And somebody found that video and basically posted it to me on X. And you can actually see it. I think it's on my profile, where you can actually see this woman say, I had it all. I had it all. Everything. We were going to bust the story wide open. Had it all. And they killed the story. Not only did they kill the story, they killed her career. She's gone. Gone. I don't know where she works. Maybe, daytimes in Alaska. I don't know. You guys remember? There was a great show Rob and I used to love. We used to order dinner in because this show was just so amazing. I'm going to tell you about this show. I'm probably going to see a bunch of you guys raise your hand. Y'all remember a show with Chris Hansen? To catch something? I don't want to say the word. To catch a you-know-what? I used to love, hey, take a seat right there. Just go ahead and take a seat right there. I'm Chris Hansen from NBC News. Just sit down. We got to talk. What happened to that show? Why did that show get blasted into the ether? It was extremely popular. They were getting too close to something. And all of a sudden one day, where's Chris Hansen? I don't know. I ain't seen Chris Hansen. I don't even see Chris Hansen doing puppy news. He's not even covering the Puppy Bowl. Where's Chris Hansen? Y'all remember that show? Think about that, Barry. That was somebody just wrote there. Yeah, y'all remember that show? Where was that? Somebody said that wasn't 1,000 bottles of lube. It was 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Okay, you're splitting hairs there, bro. Splitting hairs. So anyway, Chris Hansen is back. He's got a YouTube show. Or well, some of the episodes go on YouTube. Some of them are on, I think, True Network or something like that. But it's not the same in terms of people being able to find it. You got to go search him out. He's on TV with Fox every now and then. Jesse Waters brings him on. But he's kryptonite. Nobody wants anything to do with him. So when you're talking about these kind of conspiracies, you have to wonder, why don't we know what happened with Chris Hansen? Why is it that there's something that you're hiding away from that? I don't know. You tell me. Go look it up. Let me see if did I repost it on here? Oh, okay. All right, while they're waiting. This right here was a skit. I don't know when it was, but it was making fun of Obama with an actress playing Justin Bieber. Interesting. Very interesting. Saturday Night Live did a skit. Took it off the air. It's no longer there. I'm looking to see if the Amy Roback thing. I'd have to find it. But it's just very. Then there's this one too. This was pretty interesting. This was Ashton Kutcher. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Ashton Kutcher is asked about things. You can read it, so I don't have to show it. But let me rewind it. Yeah, you can see it. Just read that. That way I don't have to say the words. But you can see. I can't tell you. Why can't you tell anybody? What is it that these people are all sworn to secrecy about? And how it's coming out. Interesting, isn't it? Very, very, very interesting that this information is all beginning to basically, just come out a little bit here or there, and nobody really is allowed to talk about it. So when people talk about, conspiracy theories, And here, maybe I can let you guys see this. I don't have to actually, you can read it again. Okay. I'm going to have to. Okay, that one you can actually see. Let me rewind it, and you can actually. Okay, I got to kill the volume. You see it? I'm going to just let you guys read that. I hope you guys can all see it. You can look this up. Like I said, her name is Amy Roback. You seeing what she said she had? We had it. We had it all. So you have to wonder, not wonder, you know there are some really powerful forces at this point. She had it all 3 years ago. I don't even know if Amy Roback is still working in news. I don't know if she got Chris Hansen. I can't tell you. But when people talk about conspiracy theories, you know what I've said many times, a conspiracy theory is something that's true, but you just don't know the information. You're not privy to what's really happened or what's going on. There's a reason why some of these people get absolutely put into the ether, gone. And as touchy as I'm being here, you realize I can't even, we can't even talk about it. They don't allow us to talk about it. Can't see it, but she looks uncomfortable. She's pissed she didn't get credit. Yeah, not credit. She didn't get to air it. Nobody knows what it is. There's nothing to take credit because it disappeared. Hey, I got this great story. It includes this person, that person, and we're going to run with it. No, you're not. It's news. Not here, it's not. So you can give me those tapes. Give me those tapes. Oh, okay. Conspiracy theory is a 6-month spoiler. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. All right, so waiting for him. He's still not come out. 7:30, so 7:40. So what I attribute this stuff to is there's no sound on that video on my TV. What video are you talking about? You'd have to... No, I didn't play the sound. Okay, I see what you're saying. No, I didn't play the sound because I can't. I can't. I'm not even allowed to play the audio on that tape. You're going to go have to X and then thank Elon Musk that you'll be able to look it up and hear it. Her name is Amy Roback. R-O-B-A-C-H. Just put in the search on X. Amy Roback tape. Amy Roback video. And it'll come up. It's over there. You ain't going to see it here. We're not allowed to just talk about it. Let's see here. Just as 30,000 emails, look what they did to Julian Assange. Can you imagine that? That guy just, okay, wait a minute, we got something? Nope, not yet. Just thought he was coming out. Yeah, Marcus, I can't play the sound. I'm sorry, can't play the sound. It's worth noting, oh, this is interesting, that Amy Roback's personal life and current whereabouts are not publicly disclosed, and she may be based in a different location than her previous association with ABC News. Wow, is that true, man? Are you not allowed to even know where she's working these days? Wow. Yeah, I've watched Sound of Freedom. I know that, you know that, more people need to know about that. Amy Robach and TJ who had an affair, and they got fired from that morning and midday show they were on. TJ, who's TJ? Not really sure about that. So we're at 7:41. Looking at the crowd, people are doing a wave and jumping around. Ain't nobody leaving, but he has not walked out yet. Secret Service is in position, but he's not there yet. They're trying every way in the world to shut Elon Musk up. And the thing is, it's not Elon Musk they're trying to shut up. They're trying to shut up you and me. Because when any of you go on X tonight and look up Amy Robach and you see that video, you're going to be like, oh, damn. And, hey, did you see this? Hey, Fred, did you see this? Did you know about this? Albeit you're going to be late to the party because we've known about this thing for quite some time. And, you know, like I've been telling you guys almost on a daily basis now, you got to take your pill, decide which way you're going to go, because there's a whole lot of stuff out there that just kind of just went into the ether. How many of you guys are into, like, rock music? Into rock music? That was a band I used to love. I still love their music. They're pretty cool. You guys ever hear of a band called Linkin Park? Go look up some stuff about Chester Bennington. Chester Bennington was the lead singer of Linkin Park. And you can listen to some of their earlier music and you're like, damn, this dude's in a lot of pain. What the heck's going on? And a lot of people don't like his music because he screams a lot when he was singing, and he really poured his emotion out. I mean, just heavy emotion. He did that until he killed himself. Just saying. He killed himself, and everybody around him thought he was in a good mood. Then you can look up Chris Cornell, great singer from the band Soundgarden. Loved his voice. Guy was a phenomenal singer. Until he wasn't. But see, those are the things that we're not allowed to discuss. Why Chris Cornell gets off stage, calls his wife. Hey, honey, yeah, we had a decent show. Everything went fine. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm about to grab some dinner with the boys, and I'll talk to you in a little while when I get back to the room. He gets off a call like that and decides, you know what? I'd rather take the dirt nap. I don't want to go down these areas because people upstairs. I'm just telling you some breadcrumbs so you can go down these areas on your own and be prepared for what you see and what you're going to hear. And this is why they labeled so many people for so long conspiracy theorists. But like I've said, there's no conspiracy. I just want more information. How did a guy who was on top of the world in his band, selling millions of records, making all the money in the world, have dinner with his family and decide he wanted to go take the dirt nap? I'm just saying. You know, most people who do that are really depressed, they're upset, they're not making any money, or the excesses of being a rock and roll star may be too much. But this guy was surrounded by family and friends and bandmates and gone. By the way, he looks like somebody. He looks a lot like somebody. He looks like somebody involved in politics. Wait till you start looking into that correlation. I've probably gone on too far at this point. Robin's probably like, stop, you're gonna get nuked. So I'm just trying to basically spend time while we're waiting for Trump to get on stage. And every time he's late, I start going down these things and people are like, oh my God, what are you telling us? And Robin's like, stop, ixnay, talk about the dog, the Mexican Chihuahua. But it's always there. And it got started because Ashley sent me a question. She says, someone asked you to explain what a deep state conspiracy means. See, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Just someone to peel back the onion layer and say, hey, what do you know about this? Oh, do you really want to know? And then 15 minutes later, I'm still talking about it. So anyway, somebody knew. Somebody already knew. Yep, a lot of us already know. Yep. Yeah. Wow. There's a wealth of knowledge in this chat. An absolute wealth of knowledge. That's why I love you guys. That's why I love the fact Ashley texted, how did I get blamed for this? Because you texted me and asked me a question. And I cannot tell a lie. So people ask me a question. Can you your question right there. Can somebody ask, can you explain what it is? All right. Man is coming out on stage. He should be on stage in a couple minutes. We're going to let the music play. Let the music play. Yeah, he's walking out. So he's coming out at 7:47. So we're going to be here probably till like 9:15-ish. So grab a Coke, get some popcorn, sit back. He's looking like he's in a good mood. The place is mobbed, packed. Looks fantastic. I can let you guys see it. I just have to kill the volume as soon as because I'm sure they're playing the music. All right, so there he is. I can talk over it, but I can't play the music. Oh gosh, yeah, you guys in here. Let's see here. But the Lord Heavenly Father will protect us. Yes, I agree. So I've got two feeds running. The second feed comes directly from his people, which I always like that better because it doesn't have all that other information. So he's walking up. You guys can see. I'm not sure who that woman is behind him. I thought Dan Scavino took all his pictures, but she's doing it. Let me cut over to the other sound. All right, so I gotta cut the sound, so I don't have that split screen stuff. So she gets to walk out right with Trump. Cool breeze. You got like the best job in America, girl. You're taking pictures of him. Wow, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. Wish I could just walk with Trump and take pictures of him. I think all you guys would love that, wouldn't you? Taking pictures of the big man. All right, so you guys know the drill. Right about now, he's taking in the music. He's talking, looking at people, doing different things. And as soon as this music starts, we'll catch it live. And we'll need you to tell me if the volume is good. It looks strong on my end. Again, I've got two feeds working, so if one of them sounds like it's Alvin and the Chipmunks, I can go to it. Who's the short fella? I don't know. He looks slimmer tonight. Yeah, he does look a little bit slimmer. All right. Start talking. Give me the lips. Nope, he ain't ready yet. Back off. The chorus is still playing. Big tease. Give us the big tease. Come on, Big D. Start talking. And...
Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. That's what you are. And when I look at this crowd and I look at the crowd outside, and we stopped a couple of places and nobody's ever seen anything like it, you know, let me tell you, they have us up in the polls, as you know, in Pennsylvania and all over the place, actually. But
how's the volume? Let me know the volume is good so I can leave it at that level. Okay.
Points up or four. There's no way. It's got to be a hell of a lot more than that. It has to be. It has to. You know, polls are fake also, just like these people, the fake news. They just... We prove that. We prove that a lot. Well, I just want to thank you. We're here today because early voting begins in Pennsylvania over the next 2 weeks. And we need each and every one of you to go out. Just don't take anything for granted. We have to win Pennsylvania. Go out and make a plan to vote early, vote absentee, or vote in person on election day, but you got to get out and vote. You got to say to your husband, Harry, get the hell off that couch. We can't take any chances because our nation is at stake. Our nation is going to hell. What they've done to our country at the border with inflation, with that Afghanistan nightmare that was the most embarrassing day probably in the history of our country, the way they did that. Getting out was fine, but you get out with dignity and strength. What they did was so bad. When you look at October 7th in Israel, it would have never happened. And you look at the Russian attack of Ukraine, would have never, ever happened, not even a thought of it. Think of it. Think of how different this world would have been. Think of how different this country would have been, our country, which is just going so bad. It's so bad. Millions and millions of people are pouring into our country, and they come from jails. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're terrorists at a level that nobody's ever seen before, and they let them come in. And you have the border czar, this person that can't even speak. She can't ask a question. She can't answer a question from... Now she gets out Oprah Winfrey, who I used to know well. She used to love me until I decided to run for politics. Oh, let's go to Mar-a-Lago, Donald. I love the place so much. No, she used to love me, but once I ran for politics, that was the end of that, and that was okay with me. I couldn't care less because we got to make our country great again. We're going to make it great again, greater than ever before. But Oprah would ask just a simple question, and you get this crazy answer, or you don't get any answer. Just, this is not a president. We had 4 years of this. We're not going to have 4 more years. We won't survive it. I also want you to promise to find at least one voter and get them out to the polls. Find these people. There's so many people. If everybody votes, you know, it's interesting. Christians, we got to get the Christians to vote. You know, I don't know what it is. Relatively, they don't vote a lot. They go to church and they love church, and that's great, but we got to get Christians, evangelicals, we have to get them out to vote. We have to get gun owners. You know, gun owners don't vote. They don't vote. We have to get them out. The NRA gave me their total endorsement. They have every time, total, complete endorsement, but they vote at levels that are very low. You know what it is? It's probably rebellion. They're rebelling. But there's nothing to rebel about. You have to get out. If we had Christians voting in full strength, we couldn't lose. If we had the gun owners voting at full strength, we couldn't lose. We have to get gun owners because your guns are under siege. She wants to take your guns away. Our entire nation is counting on the people of this great commonwealth, and I know you will not let us down. You're not going to let us down. We got to get out and vote. And you can start right away. You know that, right? Now we have this stupid stuff where you can vote 45 days early. I wonder what the hell happens during that 45. Let's move see these votes? We've got about 1 million votes in there. Let's move them. We're fixing the air conditioner in the room, right? No, it's terrible. What happened the last time was disgraceful, including right here. But we're not going to let it happen again. Too big to rig, right? That's one way you do it. Can't let it happen. We got to take our country back from these horrible people, because if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's very simple. Right, Lee? 43 days from now. 43 days we've been waiting for 4 years. 4 years. We had people that were so incompetent. They were the most incompetent leaders in the whole world. And she is worse than Sleepy Joe Biden. She's worse. She's worse. 43 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania and take our country back, and we're going to be so happy. And it'll be the most important day and the most important vote in the history of our country, because we're losing our country. I mean, somebody I heard the other day, pretty smart person, and you think about it, and it could be true. They said, if we don't win this election, there may never be another election in this country. It could happen. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela was the most prosperous country, and now you take a look. And can you believe these stupid people are buying oil from Venezuela? From Venezuela, who was our enemy? They foreclosed on his airplane, a crappy old airplane. But they're giving him billions of dollars for oil. It's not oil, it's tar. It's the worst. And you know, for the environmentalists, you know where they cure the tar? Where they take the tar and they make it into beautiful oil? Houston, Texas, and it all goes flying up in the air. You got to look into that one for all of you wonderful people that talk about the environment like I do, like many of the people in this room do. But they do it. The oil refinery it's the only one that can do it because it literally is tar. It's not good stuff. We have the best stuff and we have the most. We have more liquid gold under our feet, and we're buying oil from Venezuela. We don't need it at all. It's crazy. These people are crazy. What a nice-looking man. Who is that? Oh, that's Trump. What a wonderful-looking person. I'm just checking out the hairstyle as I'm talking. I don't know. No, I'm talking, I'm looking up, I'm saying, I don't love it. Yeah, everyone don't love it. What the hell can you do? There's nothing I can do about it, right? We're stuck with it. Kamala Harris is reportedly giving a speech in Pittsburgh. You know, her speeches are very short. About her plan to, quote, build wealth. She doesn't know anything about building wealth. But she's been in office for 3.5 years. She's saying what she's going to do if she becomes president. But she's been there almost 4 years. She hasn't done anything except destroy our country with millions of people that shouldn't be here. And inflation. And inflation. What the damage that Sleepy Joe, you know, I'm tending to call him Sleepy Joe lately because I called him Crooked Joe. But now he's not like, is he, who's our president? We don't even have, do we have a president? Why doesn't he leave? Why doesn't he leave? No, think of it. Think of it. I call him Crooked Joe. That was very effective. It got him out of the race. I mean, guess what? No, we had a debate, and he didn't do too well in that debate. And they came to him and they said, you're down 21 points and you're going to lose. This can only happen to me. So I end up with somebody new. But here's the thing. All I have to do is expose her for what she is. She's a communist, okay? She's a communist. And this country is not ready for a communist and hopefully never will be, because that doesn't work. Kamala talks about all these things that she's going to do, but she's been here. Think of it. She's been here for almost 4 years and she's not done anything. I will do this. I will do that. I will do that. What the hell? She could do them today. You know, they talk about the border. Oh, we have a plan for the border. I didn't have any help. I had a very hostile Congress. And what I did is I said, close the border to the Border Patrol. They're great. And the border was closed. We had the safest border in the history of our country. And that border was a mess. You know, in 2016, I think I won maybe because of the border. The border was very bad. And in 2020, I couldn't talk about the border because there was no problem. My people, my geniuses back there, they all said, sir, you can't really talk about the border. There's no problem. I said, well, I want to at least talk about it. I fix it. They said, people don't care, sir. They don't care. So I didn't talk about the border, but we did get millions of more votes. If you remember 2020, we got millions more votes. Millions. Look at that guy with a rug on over there. Look at him. Look at that handsome guy. You look good. He looks good. But we got millions more votes. But I'll tell you what, and we've been all over Pennsylvania today. 2016 or 2020, we never had the enthusiasm that we have right now. Look at this. Look at this. And the reason is because they're so bad. You know, we never had anything to compare it to. They're so bad. 4 years of destroying our country. We don't have a great country anymore. Remember, I had CAG, Keep America Great. but I couldn't use it because I said, America's not great. I hate to say it, but America soon will be greater than ever before. You watch. We got to win the election. We got to win the election. And I can't call her Harris either. You know, Harris, when I say Harris, nobody knows. Does that make sense? I say, and when Harris, everyone says, who's Harris? Nobody knows this person. No, they don't know her by the name Harris. They know her Kamala. It's strange. The name Harris. And when Harris, and people say, who is that Harris? Nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about. Do you know that? Lee, nobody knows you're a good lawyer. Maybe we have to change your name. You know, but nobody knows a nice name, Harris. I know some people named Harris. They're nice people. She happens to be not a nice person. She happens to be a person that's destroyed everything she's ever touched. Kamala's ruinous economic policies have already cost the typical household $29,000 through rampant inflation. $29,000 per household. She's a one-woman economic wrecking ball, and if she gets 4 more years, her radical agenda will smash the economy into rubble and grind your financial situation right into the dust. You can't have it. You can't have it. We've had it. We've had it. The guy is incompetent, and she's incompetent also. She had the other interview with the other guy, who was a nice guy, I think, from Philadelphia, from Pennsylvania, and he was a nice guy. He was asking her all these. They don't take like I do. Anybody who wants to go. What the hell difference does it make? They have, and how dishonest was ABC? It was 3-on-1. How about this David Muir and the other woman? I never heard of her. I didn't know. How the hell did she get there? I never heard of her. But David Muir, when
true?
I say crime numbers are rising, he interrupts me, kept interrupting. And he said,
Anthony, is that true?
We have it by fact that crime numbers are going down. I said, anybody that thinks crime is going down is a serious brain problem. And then it got announced the following day that Trump was right, that crime was up 45%. How about them? And I thought she was terrible in the debate. She didn't answer any questions. All she did is tell lies, bloodbath. She talked about Charlottesville. All these things were all, I hate the word debunked, but it says it. They were all debunked, every one of them. And people said it. Well, the radical left didn't say it, but they've all been fully debunked. All she did was tell lies. But when it came time to ask a question like, what are you going to do about inflation? What are you going to do about keeping taxes low? She was unable to even talk. But the one on Oprah was the worst one, in my opinion. Oprah wanted to climb under the table. It was so embarrassing. She couldn't answer the simplest question. So vote Trump and your incomes will soar, your net worth will skyrocket, your energy costs and grocery prices will come tumbling down, and we will bring back the American dream, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. The American dream. We don't talk about the American dream anymore, you know that? Mr. Congressman, what a great congressman. I'm going to introduce you guys, but what a good warrior you are. Thank you. We don't talk about the American dream, right? Anymore. We used to talk about it all the time. Today, they don't talk about it. Don't lose hope. We have to have hope. Don't lose hope. Our country's an embarrassment. The whole world is laughing at us. We're going to be stronger. They weren't laughing at us 4 years ago. They were not unhappy to see me head off. And they said, thank goodness we'll never have to see him or deal with him again. You know, China had to pay $472 billion in tariffs. No other president took in 10 cents from China. Not 10 cents. No president took in 10 cents. And remember this, and I just say this, if you look at Ukraine and Russia, but they say Russia. I stopped the Russian pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of it until I came along. I stopped the biggest economic development job, the biggest job they've ever done. I stopped it cold. When Biden came in, he let them build, but he killed our Keystone pipeline, which we needed. He killed Keystone, so he killed, but think of it. And remember this about Russia. Under Bush, They took a lot. Under Biden and Barack Hussein Obama, has anyone ever heard of him? Barack Hussein, a lot of people say he's actually running the country right now. I don't think so. I don't think so. But some people say he's running our country. But I don't think it's Biden. Under Barack Hussein Obama, they took a lot, right? Under Biden, they're taking everything. They're taking everything. This is Russia. They're taking everything. I mean, Ukraine is destroyed. It's destroyed. You know, they could have made a deal. And you didn't even have to make a deal. Putin was never going in if I were president. But even if he did, you could have made a deal. Now the whole place is destroyed. The cities are knocked down. Millions of people are dead. Far more people are dead than anybody knows. Far more people. When you see those cities get knocked down and they say 2 people are injured, it's all a lot of fake news, I'll tell you. The people are dead, millions of people. And now the whole place has been, the cities have been knocked down, the whole place. They could have made a deal 3 years ago and everything would be happy, vibrant. Their heritage wouldn't have been broken. Those beautiful golden towers are taken down. All of those beautiful ancient towers are rubble on the ground now. I mean, any deal they make, what's the deal? They have to go back. They'll take 100 years to rebuild, and you can never rebuild it like it was. That should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president. And you know what? It didn't happen. And even radical left lunatic Democrats say, I will say, if Trump was president, it wouldn't have happened. Putin would have never done it. I said, don't do it, Vladimir. Don't even think. We're not going to do it, Vladimir. I said, Vladimir, we're not going to do that, Vladimir. And China, I had the same, almost identical conversation with President Xi of China. Don't go in. Don't go in. He's got planes circling Taiwan. They're circling. He wants that so badly. And Vladimir wanted it badly. That was the apple of his eye. Ukraine was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't do it. He would have never gone in. Would have never happened. All these things would have never happened. But Ukraine now, I see Zelensky is here. I think Zelensky's the greatest salesman in history. Every time he comes into the country, he walks away with $60 billion. Billion! Walks in with $60 billion. He wants them to win this election so badly. But I would do differently. I will work out peace as president-elect. If I win this election, the first thing I'm going to do is call up Zelensky and call up President Putin, and I'm going to say, you got to make a deal. This is crazy. Crazy. They asked Biden, when was the last time you spoke to Putin? He didn't know. Of course he didn't know. What a stupid question. Of course he doesn't know. How would he know a thing like that? But it's been like years. And they keep bombing, cities pouring down, bombing. It's horrible. Actually, they're reduced now to using young boys and old men. Young boys and old men, because their people have been killed. So many of their people have been killed that they are using young boys to fight the war and old men. How about that? It's what a horrible thing has happened just because, and it's our fault because it's a war that should have never been allowed to happen, and we had the power that it would never have happened. We have an incompetent leader in Biden, and we have somebody who's worse in this new one that they threw into the ring. Central to Kamala's agenda for economic destruction is her plan to impose the largest individual tax hikes in American history onto our public, the largest small business tax hike in history, the largest capital gains tax hike in history. How about the capital gains tax, right? How about that one? And even the brand new wealth confiscation tax or unrealized capital gain. How about that? Unrealized. You know, I know a lot of people that are rich, but they have no cash. They're rich as hell, but what are they going to do? They have to pay cash to unrealized. In other words, you pay a capital gains tax even though you're not selling your property, your stock, or whatever it might be. I don't think it's ever even been done. It's been thought of by communist nations, but I don't think it's ever been done. You know, her father is a fascist. He's a Marxist, and he's a teacher of Marxist economics. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Where have we come? Which will annihilate, if they do that unrealized capital gain, which I can't believe they can pull it off, but if they do it, it'll annihilate the stock market and wipe out the savings of millions of seniors and middle-class families. It'll wipe out our country. Our country will be driven in, I think anyway it'll happen. A lot of people say the only reason the stock market's high is everyone thinks I'm going to win the election. I believe that's true. A lot of the biggest, smartest. Uncle Sam? Look, it's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is here. Do you agree with that? Uncle Sam says, no, a lot of people agree. I think it's going to be horrible. We don't win for so many other reasons, too, but you'll have a depression like 1929. Kamala Harris is the tax queen, and she's coming for your money, she's coming for your pensions, and she's coming for your savings unless you defeat her in November and you want to take away your guns. Remember that. Always remember that. As president, I will keep Kamala's greedy hands out of your pockets, and we will deliver gigantic tax cuts. I gave you the largest tax cuts in history, and we are going to go further. That's what created the greatest economy. You know, when they say compare yourself now, but do something else. Compare costs now. Compare the cost of bacon with the cost of bacon 4 or 5 years ago. Compare the cost of just groceries. I mean, some of these things have gone up 4, 5, 6 times. Energy, interest rates. How about, I was at 2% interest rates. Now they're at 10%, but you can't get the money, so you got to keep going up. Okay, you're not at 10% if you can't get the money. We will have, I'm very proud of this, and then she copied me on one of them, only one. I'm waiting for the others. We will have no tax on tips. That was an easy one. We will have no tax on overtime. You work overtime. And for our seniors who have been decimated by the stupidity of inflation, these people, what they did to you on inflation, we will have no tax on Social Security benefits. No tax. You've been decimated. They took it all away. They took it all away from you. And for all the suburban households paying high property taxes here in Pennsylvania, I will restore the SALT deduction. Do you know what that is? SALT deduction. You will. To save you thousands of dollars. Maybe I shouldn't bother with, but that's a good one, but you guys don't know what the hell it is. That's a good one. People think of New York, but it actually affects you very much, too. I think I'll keep it off for Pennsylvania. You don't care. You didn't like that one so much, but it's actually pretty good. It's no wonder that Kamala Harris was just officially endorsed by IRS agents. Do you believe it? That's when you'd say, I'd rather not have that endorsement. But I've been endorsed by virtually every police group in the entire nation. Every police group. Almost every sheriff's group, every police group, every one of them. We just had one, the Fraternal Order. We just had 400,000 policemen. That's the biggest of all the unions, and they endorsed me. And this is the first time in decades, just got endorsed by the rank and file members of the Teamsters, which I happen to think is amazing. That was a surprise. That's automatic for the Democrats, and they, now the bosses didn't endorse me, but they had a problem because they got 30% of the vote. We got actually 60 or 61% of the vote. Can you believe it? So the people that were in the 61, the people that want us, they said, well, how come you didn't endorse them? They're just going to take a pass. But maybe that's okay. That's all right. We know where they stand, and that's good. Kamala Harris is the candidate of the tax collectors and the Washington bureaucrats. I am the candidate of the American worker, and I always will be. I always will be. But perhaps Kamala's biggest tax hike of all is her vicious attack on Pennsylvania energy. You're under attack. If anybody here believes that she will let your energy industry continue like fracking, you should immediately go to a psychiatrist and have your head examined. On dozens of occasions, Kamala said that she intends to ban fracking. I'm going to ban it. I'm going to ban it. I think we have a clip. Would you like to see a clip? I spend a lot of money on these clips. Spend a lot of money on these clips.
That's why I am committed to passing a Green New Deal, creating clean jobs, and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
Mama Kamala just don't give a frack.
Isn't that great? He's not very funny. Can you? That guy. Those three guys, they're being blown away by Gutfeld. You know, Gutfeld totally dominates. Those three guys. You remember that guy? When I first ran, it was like 2015, thinking about running. I was going to run. I went on his show, right? And he goes, The Tonight Show, which is dying. They're all dying. Where's Johnny Carson? Bring back Johnny. It made you appreciate, right, Uncle Sam? It made you appreciate the greatness of Johnny Carson and these guys. These three guys, they're so bad, all three of them. All three of them. But this one, I go on his show, and he goes, Is that your real hair? I said, yeah. He said, do you mind if I mess it up? I said, I'd prefer no. Do you remember this? I said, I'd prefer it if you didn't, to be honest, but if you have to. So he grabs it, and he starts really going crazy, right? And everybody laughed, and it was a big thing, and it was a big hit. It was all over the place, and he got great ratings and all. And 6 months later, he went out because he was under pressure to apologize because he humanized Donald Trump. Do you remember? And he stood up and he said, I'd like to apologize. 6 months ago, or whatever it was, I messed up Donald Trump's hair and it humanized him and he became president. And I would like to apologize. How weak and pathetic is a guy like that? And his show died, but the other two shows are dying. The one on ABC is dying. He was the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. Remember I did that? Remember I wrote I put a truth. Everybody should go to Truth immediately. And by the way, we also love Elon, I have to tell you. Gave me a big endorsement, big one. But remember in the Academy Awards, I said how he's the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. And this stupid guy goes up, and just before the Best Picture of the Year, the show is almost over. They're waiting for the Best Picture of the Year. He gets up and he says, and his wife said, please don't do it. Please, darling, don't go out. His manager said, don't do it. I have to do it. He goes out and reads my truth to the entire audience right before the best, prime time, the Best Picture. And it said basically, he is the worst host in the history. He reads the whole thing. And then I think he said something like, ha, ha, ha. He thinks he bothers me or some crap like that. I said, he's one of the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife. What a dope. But all three of them are bad. The hatred. You know, it's supposed to be comedy. It's hatred. It's like terrible. But they're dying. And did anyone see the Gutfeld for last week? So, actually, I said it in the show. You know, so Gutfeld had the highest ratings in his history. And it was the #1 show of the week on all of television, not just on cable, on all of television. It beat all the network shows. But I told her on the show, Gutfeld hated me for a long time, hated me. And then he started saying, you know, he didn't know me, but he hated me. People that know me like me. But he just couldn't stand me. And he was pretty strong on that. And then what happened is he started to say, you know, I don't like him, but he gets everything done. He rebuilt our military. We have no wars. He took out the worst terrorists in history. We don't have any problems. We didn't have one terror attack during my administration. With all the terror attacks all over the world, we didn't have countries fighting each other. They wouldn't have done it without my permission. They would call me up to ask whether or not they could go to war with some other country. And I said, you can't do that. And if you do that, I'm going to put big, big taxes all over your country. Okay, we won't do it. And they'd call me up the next day. We've decided not to go to the war. We had no wars. Israel was free. Ukraine was free. They weren't. The whole world. Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, he said, if you want to solve, because now everything's blowing up. The Middle East is going to end up in World War III. Ukraine's going to end up in World War III. So many different. We could end up in World War III with incompetent leadership. With smart leadership, it never happened. But it's tougher now than it would have been 3-4 years ago. I mean, the whole place. And more importantly, no matter what you do, you can't get those cities back. You can't get that civilization back. And you can't get 3 or 4 million lives back. You can't do it. But Gutfeld said on the show, he said, you know, I don't love this guy, but man, everything he touches, he fixes. He gets it done. Our country was doing great. We had the best economy. And he asked for an interview. And I said, you know, I'll do it, but I'm begrudgingly, 10 minutes. I don't really want to do it because he doesn't like me. I guess I don't like anybody that doesn't like me, I'll be honest. When they don't like me, I don't like them, okay? Sounds childish. Look at the wall. Mr. Wall, stand up, please, Mr. Wall. When they don't like me, Lee, I don't like them. That's the way it is. Call it a personality defect. But we did an interview, and it was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it lasted for 2.5 hours. It just never stopped. There was a great chemistry. We actually liked each other. And he likes me. And he took that interview and he put it on 5 shows, and his ratings went through the roof. And he's held it. I mean, he's the hottest guy on late night and beyond late night, maybe in a lot of ways. But we love Sean Hannity too, right? And we love Laura. And we love Jesse. And Janine. And Pete. We like Pete Hegseth. Ainsley's good. We have a lot of good people. And then we have some bad ones too, including on Fox. You ever notice on Fox, they put me on, I do a great job, and then they follow me with a horrible commercial, you know. I say, what the hell is it good of me doing it if Roger Ailes never allowed bad commercials? What's the purpose of me doing a nice show and then they put 9 horrible commercials on, which are all lies? Or they put somebody on that's good, and then they always feel like they have to put somebody on who's bad. So the net result is a neutral. And you say, what are you doing it for? You can't do that. Fox should put just the good people on, the people that want to make America great again. They shouldn't put the guys that are professional scammers on. And they shouldn't allow bad commercials. Just a few months ago, Kamala imposed a natural gas export ban. Can you believe that? That is brutalizing Pennsylvania energy jobs. You know about it, right? And Kamala's Green New Deal insanity, I call it the Green New Scam, is shutting down power plants all across America. As a result, Pennsylvania electricity prices are up, despite all of the oil and gas and everything, are up 35% in a very short period of time, with all that stuff underneath your feet, in particular you. Since she took office, we are looking at another rise now of anywhere from 30 to 50% very quickly. And we have so much. We have so much. And you're hit about as hard as anybody. If you vote for me, I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months. We're going to cut them down in half. I will terminate the natural gas export ban, which makes it impossible for you to sell your product to a lot of countries that want it desperately because they don't have what we have. We are so rich, we have the greatest, and we don't use it. It makes you really. We have all of this stuff more than anybody. We don't use it. I will get Pennsylvania energy workers pumping, fracking, drilling, and producing like never before. Right? And I don't know about how you feel, but I do, because this was the greatest company in the world 60 or 70 years ago. We are also going to keep U.S. steel right here in America. We have to be strong and powerful again, and we must put tariffs on foreign predators. They are predators, so that they don't destroy our steel industry. The people that like me the most of the steel, they were dead when I came into office. They were dead. And I put taxes on China. China was dumping massive amounts of steel to destroy our companies. I put a 50% tariff, then I raised it in some cases to 100%. And at a certain level, they said, no mas, we're not doing it. Remember, no mas, Roberto. We love Roberto Durando. And no mas, no mas. And they said no mas, and that was the end of it. And our steel companies were saved and thrived. And now we're losing our steel companies again because we have stupid people in the White House. We must keep our steel companies, and we must keep making steel more than any. If we have a war, are we going to call up, China, could you send us some steel, please? Oh, I forgot about that. If we have a war, think of it. If we need it for our military, how do we build our tanks? How do we build our ships? We wouldn't have any steel. We have to make U.S. Steel great again. It doesn't have to be what it was. It was the greatest company in the world. Think of it. U.S. Steel was the greatest company in the whole world. That would be like whatever. You know, today our big companies are like Google and this and that. They're not the same. U.S. Steel is the strength. Google is all, give me a break. Not the same. Not the same. You see all the stuff that Google and Facebook and all what, they got caught cheating on the last election, the bad things they did, the 51 agents and all of the stuff, the laptop. Remember, it was Russia. It was Russia. No, it was Hunter, as we said. And they affected the election very much. It came out many points, 11 points, 12 points. But that's what we have. And we can never let that happen again. And I said, we're going to go after anybody that gets caught cheating on the election. We're going to go after them harder than anyone's ever been sought before. Because these people are really a threat. They are a threat to democracy. The Democrats are a threat to democracy. That's the real threat. Under my plan, America will be a manufacturing superpower once again. We will be the envy of the world, and we will build that incredible future right here in Pennsylvania. Boy, did I come close. I almost said, I better be careful, because, you know, if I even mention, they'll report it, because I don't want to be. Should I say it, Uncle Sam? I almost said the state of Pennsylvania, but I meant the Commonwealth. I never said the state. I was able to catch it because I'm cognitively very strong. Very strong. Very, very strong. I was able to catch it. Did you notice that? Right here and I stopped for a second. I said, Pennsylvania. I didn't want. Oh, that's a bad mistake. When you do the state of Pennsylvania, you get yourself, I've seen it. Well, the worst was Biden. He's in Florida, and he says, thank you for being so nice. I love Iowa. I've always loved. I said, remember, he was in New Hampshire, and he said he was in Maine. I never did that. You know, if you do that, it's career-threatening. As it turned out, it was career-threatening. But if you do that once, Winston Churchill was this great speaker. Great. I get much bigger crowds than him, but nobody ever says I'm a great speaker. Winston Churchill was a great speaker. If he ever was in London and he said, I'm in Beirut, or because Biden is capable of that, he could go that far off. And, you know, he compared Florida to Iowa, and then he said it was Idaho, the greatest potato place in the world. He said with Iowa, remember, he said, I love the potatoes in Iowa. No, he meant, right? He didn't mean Iowa. I mean, the whole thing. But I said, you know, if you were Winston Churchill and you make a mistake as to location, like I'm here with you, and if I say, it's great to be in the great state of Illinois, could happen. No matter how great your speech is, you could make the greatest speech in history, and people will go, that was a disaster, right? He did it all the time, but she's worse than him. I'm telling you, watch. She's not as smart as him. He's not smart. He never was smart. He wasn't smart 40 years ago. Always, he was a hale and hearty guy, well met. Did you ever hear Shakespeare? He was hale and hearty and well met, but he wasn't a smart person. But she is a very dumb person, and we can't do that. We can't do that. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. Another front in Kamala's war on workers is her gigantic migrant invasion. Over the past 3 years, border czar. Do you notice she said, I'm not a border czar? She was a border czar for 3.5 years. Now she's saying I had nothing to do. Whether she was the border czar or just the person in charge of the border, it's been the worst thing ever, maybe one of the worst things ever to happen to our country. Look at what's happening in Springfield, Ohio. Look at what's happened to that beautiful town. Look at what's happened to Aurora in Colorado, where you have a radical left Democrat governor who doesn't have a clue. He's so scared. The Venezuelans are attacking. They're in the real estate business. They're taking over real estate. They're in there like I was, but they take it over with guns. I took it over with the brain. They take it over with guns. But they're in, think of it, Aurora, and they have weapons that the military doesn't even have. AK-47s. I learned about AK-47s 3 weeks ago. That's not a nice. I'm getting very good at learning about weapons. I'm learning a lot about guns. Over the past 3 years, border czar Harris has inundated small towns all across America with hundreds of thousands of migrants. Not only has she invited them across our border, unfortunately, she's also illegally flown them in. Remember, she was making excuses. No, we haven't really had too many. And then we found out that they're flying in by big, beautiful jets. They're flying over the border. She's trying to say that the border was sort of secure. It wasn't secure. Although the greatest graph in the history of graphs, a thing that I love perhaps as much as any person I've ever met, is my wonderful graph on immigration and the lack of people coming. Do we have that graph? Can we put that graph up? This is my favorite graph. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that graph, Lee. David, I love it. Oh, isn't that a beautiful? I don't care what it says. I don't care if it said I did a lousy job. That's the most beautiful piece of paper I've ever seen. You see the arrow in the bottom? That was the week that I left office. See the arrow in the bottom, the big red arrow? That's the lowest level. This was done by the Border Patrol. This looks like a Trump special. It wasn't. That was done by the U.S. Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. ICE is phenomenal. That was done by the Border Patrol. That was the lowest level of immigration we've ever had in the country. And then these idiots, these stupid idiots took over, and look at what happened to our numbers. Look at what happened. Look at what happened to the numbers. But is that the most beautiful? I love the colors, the blue, the gold, the red. There's everything about it I love the stars. Because if I didn't look over to the right to see that beautiful graph, I said, put up that graph, please. If I didn't look over to the right, I wouldn't be here with you tonight, and that would be a very terrible thing. What a beautiful thing. Think of it, Uncle Sam. Immigration saved my life. Think of it. Immigration saved my life. No, it's great. Well, thank you. And thank you. I sleep with that pace. Every night I go to bed with it. Say, darling, it's time to go to bed. Let's go. What a beautiful sight. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Great job that you were able to get it so fast. I didn't think we were going to be using it. I didn't think I was going to use it in Butler. It was just, I always use it at the end if I use it. I only use it, you would know, you go to every damn rally, right? He's at every rally. And he makes a lot of money. I think he's probably an accountant. He's a CPA. He's a genius. But he goes to every rally. But, right, I rarely use it. But when I use it, it's always on my left, and it's always at the end of the speech. This time I just thought of it. As you can see, I don't use the teleprompter too much. Isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to use a teleprompter? Isn't that nice? Right? It's really nice. Thank you very much. By the way, we had a rally in Lee's part of the woods out on Long Island, and that was unbelievable. We filled up where the Islanders play and the Nets were playing. They used to play there, a big, like a Madison Square Garden type arena. We filled it up. We could have filled it up 3 times. It was an amazing, just less than a week ago, right? That was great. Lee was there. Kamala has illegally flown in more than 500,000 migrants, right? When she was saying, no, we don't want to do that. And she's got, these guys actually want these people in our country. It's not even believable. Working with left-wing nonprofits to inundate Pennsylvania communities, changing the character of small towns and villages all over our country and changing them forever. They will never be the same. They will never be. Do you think Springfield will ever be the same? I don't think. The fact is, and I'll say it now, you have to get them the hell out. You have to get them out. I'm sorry. To get them out. Can't have it. Can't have it. They've destroyed it. It's terrible. It's terrible to say, and it's a tough thing to do. You know, you're going to take in some murderers and things, and you'll put them on the planes and the buses, and you're going to start doing it. Dwight Eisenhower holds the record. Believe it or not, he was a moderate kind of a guy, General Eisenhower, president. And he has the record. He couldn't stand people pouring into our country, and he took a lot and took them out. He's very strong on that. And we have to be strong. We have no choice because this is not sustainable by any country. There's no country that can do this. I mean, what were they thinking when they did it? What were they thinking? This is like, who would allow men to play in women's sports? Well, this is bigger. This is bigger. But it's the same thought. Who would allow? We're allowing open borders where millions of people that we have no idea who they are, where they come from. We don't know if they're murderers, if they're killers. Many are murderers, though, because prison populations are being released into our country. And these are tough people. They're tough people, and they're vicious, evil people in many cases. And we can't, but it's very tough because we'll take one young woman with 2 children and they'll put them in a bus to take them back to some country, and it'll be put in the fake news, and it'll be a terrible story. It's terrible. And the whole country will turn against it. It's a very tough thing to do. We have to do it carefully. But we have to get murderers and drug dealers and all these people that are coming into our country. We have to get them out of here. It's not sustainable. And not far from here, the 4,000 person town of Charleroi. Do people? Oh, you know Charleroi? In Charleroi, Pennsylvania, has seen a 2,000% increase in the population of their town. Do you know that, right? They have has your town changed slightly? Where are you from, Charleroi? Put up, okay, good. I just took a picture with that handsome guy. So would you say your town has changed just a little bit over the last couple of months? It's like, is it a different place, totally different place? It's what? It's completely different. Where are the other people that started screaming about Charleroi? Where are they? Okay, has your beautiful town changed? Yes. It's you can't do it. 80%, think of it, of the capital, and it's composed of lawless gangs we're not going to do this. All of the gang members, MS-13, they're being brought into our country because Venezuela doesn't want it. Remember this. Venezuela has sent their criminals into our country, has emptied their jails, not fully. They've still got people, but I don't know why, because I would have been worse than him. I would have emptied it. If I ran one of those countries, Honduras, any of them, even Mexico to an extent is doing it, and they shouldn't be doing it at all because they're getting rich off of us. They're getting rich. They shouldn't be doing it at all. They're going to stop immediately. But so many of these countries, I would do it. If I were the president of one of these countries, and they're all smart, street smart people, I would have had them all. I don't know why Venezuela does it, but they have a lot of the jail population in our country. They probably couldn't get enough buses and planes. That's probably the only reason. But they're dumping jail populations, the criminals of the street, into our country. And there's only one thing that can happen, and it's really bad. And it's happening. And now you see it. And I said this 3 years ago when I heard about it. I said, this is only going to be bad. Think of the cruelty Kamala Harris is inflicting on the people of Pennsylvania. You live in a small town your whole life. You pay your taxes. You really are exemplary. You pay everything. You do everything. You love your town. You love your country. You know the town so well by name, you're just so proud of it. And suddenly she flies in thousands and thousands of migrants from the most dangerous places on earth, and they deposit them right smack in the middle of your community. And you're a nice person, and you want to be politically correct. I see it very much in the cities, like the governor of Colorado. The guy's a real stiff, but he's up talking, and he says, well, these are fine people. He doesn't want to say that they have AK-47s and they're taking over large portions of real estate. He doesn't want to say it. They want to be politically correct. It's happening in all of these towns that we're talking about because the mayors are afraid, and they're afraid politically too. They don't know, am I supposed to say this is good, or am I supposed to say, and Democrat mayors, every one of them is saying it's a wonderful thing, and not one of them believes it, but they're afraid to go against the stupid party that's in Washington. So now your schools can teach because they can't teach because the majority of students don't speak the language. The housing market is destroyed. Crime is rampant. The jobs are taken by migrants illegally imported to our countries. Your school classes, you can't get in. You can't get into your hospitals. Nobody can get into the hospitals. They're driving to hospitals 300-400 miles away. The media is desperate to stop us from having this conversation. The fake news, look at all of them. They have a lot of people. They have some of the big ones. They have some of the big ones. Wow. Oh, that's very impressive. No, they have some good ones, too. But that's exactly why we must have this conversation. We have to have it because the media doesn't want to talk about it. They don't want to do anything that's going to embarrass Kamala because I don't know why. Number one, the country's going to die. They're going to die. They're already dying to a large extent. But if I get elected, they're going to do much better because we get higher ratings. We get the high. Greg Gutfeld got the highest ratings in the history of his show. Think of it. The number one show of the night, including networks. Nobody knows that. And maybe I think the number one show of the week. No, but they'll do much better, but they don't realize that. They haven't realized that yet. This isn't an attack on any group of people. It's common sense. We're really talking about, we're the party of common sense. We're conservative, all that. We are the party of common sense. That's what we are. That's what we are. We want to have strong borders, great education, school choice. Does everybody like school choice? We want to move the Department of Education. We're ranked at the bottom of the list, the worst. We spend more money per pupil than any other country by far. And yet we're at the bottom of the list. Out of 40, we're ranked about number 40. And I'm going to close the Department of Education and move education back to the states. And we're going to do it fast. Maybe I'll have you do that. I'll use Lee. Maybe I'll have you. You could do it. That's not too easy. We'll get somebody great. We'll get Lee Zeldin is here with us tonight. I think that's the job for Lee. Or Vivek. Or we'll get somebody. We like Vivek. We need somebody with a lot of energy, a lot of strength, energy, and intelligence. But it takes centuries to build the unique character of each state. And we are going to. And, you know, when you do that, so the number one rated country is Norway. The number two is like Denmark. And, you know, on and on it goes. Spend much less money than we do, and they have the finest education. In New York City, a few years ago with de Blasio, who was one of the worst mayors in history, by the way, he said, we're going to go with the Norwegian system. That didn't work out too well, okay? You know, when they start throwing the teachers out the window, that wasn't working out. They don't do that in Norway. Historically, they haven't thrown too many teachers out the window in Norway. But we're going to make it good. And you know what's going to happen is out of the 50 states, you're going to have 35, like different ones. Iowa will do good. A lot of the states will do very good. I can think of probably 30, 35 will be good. And 5 will be okay. 10 will be okay. You'll have 4 or 5 that will be terrible, but that's okay. We have to control it. But you'll have Idaho. You'll have Idaho will do a great job. They, you know, no debt, no this. They run a great state. A lot of places will have will have education that can compete with Norway and Denmark and this, but we'll have certain places. And it's the same places like Gavin Newsom, who's a terrible governor. You'll probably have a problem in California, but what you do is you give it to the local communities and they'll have a great educational system. You don't want to give it to somebody like Kamala because she destroyed San Francisco and then destroyed the whole state. But reckless migration policy can change it very quickly, and it can destroy everything in its way, just like we've seen in London and Paris and Minneapolis. Look at what's happened in London. Look what's happening in Paris. If Kamala Harris wins this election, she will flood Pennsylvania cities and towns with illegal migrants from all over the world. And Pennsylvania will never be the same. You will never be the same. When I'm president, all migrant flights to Pennsylvania will stop immediately. By the way, all migrant flights. Not only to Pennsylvania, everywhere. No, but how about they get caught? You know, we just found that out a few months ago. They're saying, no, we're fighting. In the meantime, people are just pouring in. No, we want to do it. And then we learned that the airplanes are flying. That means that, you know, it's just a big con job. Remember this. For a long time, she's been talking about her experience at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's over the French fries. It was so hot. I think I'm going to go to a McDonald's next week someplace. I'm going to go. Might not be in your place. I'm going to go to a McDonald's, and I'm going to work the French fry job for about a half an hour. I want to see how it is. But she said she worked and she grew up in terrible conditions. She worked at McDonald's. It was such. She never worked there. And these fake news reporters will never report it. They don't want to report it because they're fake. They're fake. They don't want to report it. She never worked at McDonald's, but it was a big part of her resume. They went to the different places. Did she work here? Did she work here? Did she work here? She said, we don't know who the hell she is. Leave us alone. We're making hamburgers. We will end the invasion of small-town Pennsylvania, and we will end the destruction of America. It's destroying our country. This country is going to be better than ever before, but we have to do certain things, and we have to do it quickly. And this is one of the big reasons that we're leading in the polls in Pennsylvania, but I think we're doing a lot better than even the polls say. In the latest Emerson poll, we're up in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia pretty substantially. In today's latest New York Times, if the New York Times gives me a good poll, you know we're way up. The Siena poll, we're up in North Carolina by 3, in Georgia by 4, and in Arizona by 5. Those are swing states, very important. And a poll on a state that Republicans just haven't won in many, many years for president. You have a wonderful governor there who's really working, Glenn Youngkin. He's working hard. He's really pushing it hard. He's in charge of it, and he's doing a good job. A poll just came out in Virginia where we're leading in the state of Virginia. Leading if we win Virginia. If we win Virginia, I don't even know if I need Pennsylvania, but we want to get it anyway. We want to get Pennsylvania. Remember last time? So last time we did better than 16, but in 2016 we were leading by hundreds of thousands of votes in Pennsylvania, and they refused to announce it, remember? And then they announced Wisconsin or Michigan, which we won. But all night long, I said, when are they going to announce Pennsylvania? It would be impossible to catch us based on the numbers. If I lost every vote from then till the end, but they waited till 2 o'clock in the morning, you know? You know why they did that, right? They were trying to see if they could accumulate enough ballots. Very dangerous thing. This is a bad, bad system. And we're winning Pennsylvania, but despite the fact that I almost hate to say that we're winning, why don't I say we're tied so you go out and vote? Or we're down by 1. I always say, pretend you're down by 1. The point is you got to get it vote. We got to win. And we got to win, and you can't take any chances. But here in Pennsylvania, you also need to vote for your next Senator, Dave McCormick, who I know for a long time. And he's going to defeat Bob Casey. He's going to stop inflation and secure our borders. Do you want to come up for a second? Do you mind? I love this guy. He's a military hero. He's a business hero. And he'll make a great senator. Come on up, David. Say something.
All right. Well, Mr. President, thank you so much for that great introduction. And we're going to win the presidency right here in the Senate majority in the Keystone State. So thank you. And the reason we're going to win is because people in Pennsylvania feel like they've lost their economic security. Prices going out of control. The war on fossil fuels. They've lost their physical security. Crime in our cities, illegal immigration, 4,000 fentanyl deaths, and people around the world, adversaries challenging us. So people in Pennsylvania want change. And what I tell them is, listen, it's a battle between common sense and these radical liberal policies under Kamala Harris. And Bob Casey's going to vote for her 99% of the time because he is a weak leader and a rubber stamp for this liberal agenda. And I say also, this is a race between strength and weakness. And when I talk about strength with G.T. Thompson and Sean Parnell, I say, listen, I was standing there at Butler, 15 feet away. I saw you get shot. I saw you go down. And I saw you come up with your fist and say, fight, fight, fight. That's why we're going to win. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. And he's a good man, I'll tell you. Very successful guy. He goes through a lot to do this. And Bob Casey, I can tell you, I was there for 4 years at the highest level. I met everybody. This guy does nothing for Pennsylvania. He's not going to help your oil, your fracking. He's not going to help anything. And David will be a warrior for your Commonwealth. He will be a warrior, total warrior. So thank you, David. Thank you very much. We're also pleased to be joined. I have so many people here. I have congressmen, I have senators. It's brutal. You know, when you introduce people, you always miss a couple of them. But I'm going to apologize because I see somebody there that I think is a certain senator, but I'm not 100% sure. The eyes aren't what they used to be, I'll be totally honest. The brain is better than it used to be, but the eyes aren't what they used to be. But you always get yourself in trouble. But I'm going to introduce somebody that's been amazing, Congressman Glenn G.T. Thompson, who's sitting with us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, G.T. Thank you very much. Great job. He's a warrior. Former Congressman Fred Keller. Fred, thank you very much. I saw him sitting there. A great gentleman who's a real leader, State Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman. Joe? Whoa. Whoa. Hey, you're popular, Joe. What a family you have, too. What a great family. Thank you very much, Joe. Mayor of Slippery Rock, J.D. Longo. Thank you, J.D. Great job. Thank you. Great job. And a friend of mine who's a warrior and a very strong guy, a tough guy, they had a bad deal with that election. It was terrible what happened. Sean Parnell. Sean, stand up. Yeah. They played around with 25,000 ballots. That was another unique one, wasn't it? What a disgrace that was. Anyway, we're 6 weeks away from the most important election in the history of our country. And here are the facts. Kamala Harris wants open borders. She will deliver rampant inflation, and she wants to pack the Supreme Court. You know that. Instead of 9 justices like we have now, Kamala wants to bring it up very substantially. Now, this is a number I heard 2 days ago, potentially to 25 justices, so she can rig the system. Meaning, not she, the whole party can rig the system, the party of communists. She wants to bring it up to 25. That's the first time I heard that number, but I heard it very loud and clear. She might as well have Congress. You know, Congress is supposed to be that, not the Supreme Court. No, they were very brave, the Supreme Court, very brave, and they take a lot of hits because of it. It should be illegal what happens. You know, you have these guys like playing the ref, like the great Bobby Knight. These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices, trying to get them to sway their vote, sway their decision. Kamala was an original creator of Defund the Police movement. Okay, so she was in Defund the Police for years. Anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. Can you imagine? That's where she came from. That's where she came from. That's her theory, and that's her way, and that's her policy. You know what the policies? She's changed 15 policies. You know, over the years, I've been like a student of politics for a long time, but I was on the other side. I was writing checks all the time, right? But I was on the other side. But I've never seen anyone go 15 for 15. I've seen guys change one policy, maybe 2 when they were little ones. She changed everything. She loves oil all of a sudden. She loves the police. About, when did that start? A few months ago. But let me tell you, they immediately go back to where they came from. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. These are great patriots, ICE. They take such hits. They are so tough and love our country so much. They get MS-13 out of our country. Under border czar Harris, Venezuela gangs, all these Venezuelan gangs have taken over entire areas of different places in our country, and she supports free health care for illegal aliens while our hospitals and emergency rooms are being overrun by migrants who come up here because they say, come up and we'll give you. Look, I feel sorry. I have a bigger heart than anybody, but you can't tell people to come up. We're going to give you education. We're going to give you free health care, because they're going to come up. And if you stop saying that, they won't come any longer. You can't do this. And Newsom does it, and all of them do it, and you can't do it. But migrants make it virtually it's unusable. I mean, the states become unusable, the school systems, the hospital. She lost more than, this is a number that's the worst number that you'll ever hear. I mean, think of it. Think of a big stadium that holds 55,000 people. She lost more than 325,000 migrant children. They're gone. Nobody knows where they are. Many of them are dead. Many of them are in sex trade. Many of them are dead. They've been trafficked. They've been raped. 325,000 children are missing. If one child is missing, it's too many. Think of it. Under her, 325,000 children. As California Attorney, she will destroy our country. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, a term, deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as nonviolent crimes. She said they are all nonviolent. She praised the idea of 70 to 80% tax. She wants a tax rate of 70 to 80%. Will you be happy paying 80%? I don't think so. She wants to ban the sale of gas-powered vehicles, which will destroy the Pennsylvania way of life. And she even endorsed free sex changes. At first they said, you got to go back and tell me this. And this was recently. She endorsed free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention centers all over our country at taxpayer expense. You don't hear this on Oprah, do you? Think of that. Sex change, you're detained. You're being held in a detention center and you say, I want to change. I want to become a woman. And they have to give you the operation, which is an immensely expensive operation on top of everything else, $250,000 at least, and then all the drugs involved and everything else. She's sick. I'm telling you, if you put her in, I don't think you will either. Uncle Sam? Uncle Sam, will you put her in? I don't think so. Stand up, Uncle Sam. No, it's terrible. As DA and as Attorney General, she destroyed San Francisco and she destroyed all of California. It's like a different place. It's not recognizable. And now she's coming to destroy the United States of America, and we're not going to let it happen. We can't let it happen. She led the change in California law so that if you steal less than $950, you are not prosecuted. And if you steal more than $950, you're actually not prosecuted either. You wonder. But how about this? The kids are walking in with computers. They're putting stuff, they're adding it up so that if it's less than $950, they go into a judge. They say, Your Honor, it's less than, oh, okay, case dismissed. How sick? Is this country sick? Less than $1,000, you don't get prosecuted. She even lied about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. Remember, she said, oh, he's fine, he's fine. A great disservice to the American people because he's negotiating with Russia, China, North Korea. He's negotiating with people that are probably in a state of shock. They say, can you believe this? Because they're all at the top of their game. I know all of them. They're at the top of their game. And we are at the most dangerous point in the history of our country. We could end up in World War III because of this lunatic and her. She's so much worse. She wants to take away your guns and your rifles in violation of the Second Amendment. And she's a communist, and everybody knows it, and our country is not ready for a communist president and won't be for a long, long, long time to come. That's why less than 2 months from now, we are going to tell her that we've had enough. Our country can't take it anymore. Kamala, you've been a terrible vice president. You'll be the worst president in the history of our country, superseding even crooked Joe Biden. Kamala, you are a disaster to the United States of America. Kamala, you are fired. You're fired. Get out. Get out. All right, so we have to talk business. I always thought women liked me. I never thought I had a problem. But the fake news keeps saying women don't like me. I don't believe it. I think, you know why? They like to have strong borders. They like to have safety. Nothing personal. I think they like me. But I make this statement. Thank you. I love you too. I love you too. Thank you. But I think they like me because I represent something that's very important. I make this statement to the great women of our country. Sadly, women are poorer than they were 4 years ago, much poorer, are less healthy than they were 4 years ago, are less safe on the streets than they were 4 years ago, are paying much higher prices for groceries and everything else than they were 4 years ago, are more stressed and depressed and unhappy than they were 4 years ago, and are less optimistic and confident in the future than they were 4 years ago. I believe that. I will fix all of that and fast, and at long last, this nation and national nightmare will end. It will end. We've got to end this national nightmare. Because I am your protector. I want to be your protector. As president, I have to be your protector. I hope you don't make too much of it. I hope the fake news doesn't go, oh, he wants to be their protector. Well, I am. As president, I have to be your protector. I will make you safe at the border, on the sidewalks of your now violent cities, in the suburbs where you are under migrant criminal siege, and with our military protecting you from foreign enemies, of which we have many today because of the incompetent leadership that we have. You will no longer be abandoned, lonely, or scared. You will no longer be in danger. You're not going to be in danger any longer. You will no longer have anxiety from all of the problems our country has today. You will be protected, and I will be your protector. Women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free. You will no longer be thinking about abortion. It's all they talk about, abortion, because we've done something that nobody else could have done. It is now where it always had to be, with the states and a vote of the people. And it is and will be, with powerful exceptions like those that Ronald Reagan insisted on for rape, incest, and the life of the mother, but not allowing for Democrat-demanded late-term abortion in the 7th, 8th, or 9th month, or even execution of a baby after birth. Thank you. Thank you very much. Such an important topic. For 52 years, all legal scholars and experts wanted abortion to be with the states and to have a vote of the people. 52 years they fought for this. Republicans, Democrats, liberals, and conservatives. Everyone wanted abortion out of the federal government and into the states. 6 brilliant and very brave justices of the United States Supreme Court were able to do that for you, and they did it. It will never move back to the federal government. We'll never have the votes to do so, and nobody should want it to, because it must now have that very important vote of the people, something sought for many, many years. I have always defended and supported IVF fertility, and so has the Republican Party, and we gave you and give you total support on IVF. Don't let anyone tell you different. We are much stronger than the Democrats. We want beautiful babies in our country. We want you to have your beautiful, beautiful, perfect baby. We want those babies, and we need them. And I will protect women at a level never seen before. They will finally be healthy, hopeful, safe, and secure. Their lives will be happy, beautiful, and great again. And it's my honor to do so. It's my honor to do so. Because that's all they talk about. Our country's a mess. It's a mess. The borders are bad. The trade is bad. The inflation is bad. It's the worst time in your lives in our country. We're being laughed at by everybody in the world. Everything is wrong with our country. Nothing's right. And all they talk about is abortion. The fact is, for 52 years, they've been trying to do what we did. And the votes are all taking place in Ohio. It took place in Kansas. And it was more liberal than people would have thought. But it's taking place all over the land. And the vote's going to change, and it's being negotiated. But it's the vote of the people, and it's with the exceptions. We want to have the exceptions. Some people have to follow their heart. But it's hard not to have the exceptions. It really is. But that's all they talk about. The country's falling apart. We're going to end up in World War III. And all they can talk about is abortion. That's all they talk about. And it really no longer pertains because we've done something on abortion that nobody thought was possible. And I give those 3 brilliant, if you think about it, and it's 6, but the 3 that we put in.
That's not me, so let me switch to the other feed that's running to see if both feeds went down. Nope, hold on.
Years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant. We're going to stop the migrant invasion. We will stop the migrant invasion into our country. Not sustainable by any country. We will carry out the largest deportation operation of criminals in American history. Have to. We have to. I'd rather not say it. I would rather not say it, but we have to. We will end inflation and make America affordable again. It's not affordable. I went to that store today in Pennsylvania, beautiful store. Brian, the son of the owner, what a great young man he was, and we had such an incredible crowd. But he was saying how unbelievable, he hates to do it, but the prices are so high they've never seen anything. We looked at a lot of the people at the checkout counter. How are the prices? So they're all going, it's terrible. That's all over the country. This happened because of Biden and Kamala. While working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. It's too much. They're paying 25%, 28%. It's too much. We're going to become energy independent again and energy dominant in a very short period of time, like no other country has ever been. We will do things that no other country has ever been able to do with energy because we have more energy than anybody else. And we are going to get ANWR that I told you about in Alaska open and operating immediately. We will close the border, let people come into our country, but only if they come in legally, and we will immediately drill, baby, drill. And we will stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. We are not going to let foreign countries rip us off any longer, and we just about had it stop, and they just broke everything that it's just amazing what they did is so disgraceful. We will pass call it Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. So if China or any other country, not only China, charges us a 100 or 200% tariff, then we will charge them the exact same 100 or 200% tariff in return. And I will not let Mexico, China, or any other country sell cars into the United States to the detriment of our auto workers. And I will bring the auto industry manufacturing back into the United States. It will be. We're going to bring it back. We're not going to let them. You know, right now China is building massive car factories. They wouldn't have started it with me, but they didn't know that was going to happen to us 4 years ago. They had no idea. They had no thought that could happen. Nobody thought that was going to happen. That's why, you know, if I thought that I did poorly in that election, which we didn't, we got more votes than any sitting president in history by a lot. Think of it. If I didn't do that, if I thought I lost that election, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this. Much harder. It's easy. You know, you lose, you lose. But when that happens, you can't let people get away with it. You cannot let people get away with it. Our car industry and auto manufacturing will be doubled during my term and at a number higher than it ever was before. You know, we've lost almost 60% of our automobile manufacturing over decades. And it's now a lot of it's going right into Mexico. We're going to stop that. We're going to stop it very quickly. They weren't doing it with me, but boy, are they doing it now. I will end Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate. I will always protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts on Social Security. We're not going to be changing the age. They're going to end up destroying Social because they're letting migrants into Social Security at numbers nobody can believe, and you're going to end up, they will destroy your Social Security on top of everything. I will stop the drugs and fentanyl pouring into our country, killing our kids and our families. We will stop it. I had it down to the lowest number in 32 years. And then these people took over, and what happened to our border, what happened to even the drugs pouring in, times 9, they tell me, is 9 times more than we had. And by the way, honestly, you will never be able to solve that problem unless you have the death penalty for drug dealers. And it's not something I like saying. That's the way it is. China has no drug problem. I said to President Xi, do you have a drug problem? No, 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 no. You don't have a drug problem? No, no, no. What do you attribute that to? He said, quick trial. I said, what's quick trial? We take the drug dealer, we give him a quick trial, and if he's guilty, which I guess he probably always is over there, he said, we immediately execute. You got to understand something. It sounds horrible, right? Each drug dealer, he or she, during the course of their life, kills at least 500 people. And when you hear that, how many families do you know where their child had a dose of fentanyl, not even in many cases because they were into drugs. They take another drug and it's laced with fentanyl, not even what you would call a bad drug. They take a medication prescribed by a doctor, it's got fentanyl, and they die right in front of the parents. We will crush all of that. We will stop it, and we're going to stop it fast. Not going to allow it. President Xi and I had a great conversation. I said, you know, you're killing our people. You said it because they make it. You're setting it into Mexico. You're killing our people. And I told him what I was going to do, and he was not happy about that. And we had a deal that he was going to give death penalty to any people making fentanyl and selling it into the United States. And then when Biden took over, that all failed because, you know, these guys aren't going to do anything. They didn't do anything. They don't do anything. Even if you look at the Abraham Accords, what I did for Israel, we had 4 countries. They still have 4 countries. She said every country should have been signed. You would have had peace in the Middle East. But they signed. They took the 4 countries. They haven't put 1 country in, 1 additional country. We would have it loaded up. We will crush violent crime and protect all law enforcement, including Border Patrol, ICE, sheriffs, and Secret Service. We will protect that. We will terminate the Green New Scam and spend trillions of unspent dollars on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt, and not fake infrastructure like we have under the Green New Deal, where it's throwing money out the window and causing massive inflation. I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III. And I think I'm the only one that's going to be able to do that. We are far down the line. And World War III will be a war. This will be a war like no other because of the weaponry. I always say, this is no longer army tanks going back and forth shooting each other. This is nuclear power with power like nobody's ever seen before. We will have peace through strength. That's what we had. We had no wars during my 4 years. First time. Now, we wiped out ISIS 100%. We did it in 4 weeks. They said it would take 5 years. I did it in 4 weeks. Our military is great. Our military is not woke either. The guys on top, like Milley, and those guys are woke. But you don't have the television guys are all woke. But the real military, you could put them in a room for 2 years and scream woke at them. And when they walk out, they'll be shouting, I'm not woke. The job they did with me on ISIS, you know, I inherited that whole mess with ISIS. And we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate in record time. We have a great military, which you don't hear about. I will support universal school choice, and every parent will be empowered to send their child to the public, private, religious, or charter school that is right for them. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., which is a horror show. making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We're going to rebuild our cities. We'll have to work with Democrats, and that's okay. But we're going to get them cleaned up, and we're going to make them safe, because right now you can't walk across a street in our cities, including Washington, D.C., the capital. We're going to clean it up, make it beautiful again, and make it safe again. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, because it is failing right now. And if we lose that, it'd be like losing a war. This is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Every single race, religion, color, and creed. We're going to take care of it all. Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, and low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. It's the American dream. We're bringing back the American dream. We will stop the invasion. We'll end migrant crime, which is at a level that nobody can believe except me, because I said it. As soon as I heard what they were doing with the open border, I couldn't believe it. We built hundreds of miles of wall, and all we had to do is flip up some additional wall panels. We would have picked up 200 miles more. That's much more than I ever said I was going to build. And they didn't do it. And then I realized they wanted open borders. I couldn't believe it. We're going to strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield around our country. We're going to keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we are going to keep men out of women's sports. You saw the Olympics with the boxing, with the young, beautiful young Italian girl fighting a person who transitioned. Muhammad Ali would have been scared of this person. Transitioned, and you know the left is sort of a defensive shot, right? So, boom, he gets a left, he hits her in the face. She didn't know what the hell hit her. It's like a horse. I never saw this before. She walked back to her corner. She said, I just got hit with something. What happened? They said, give it another try. Maybe she was just lucky. Sorry. I could get in trouble for that. Uncle Sam said, no, you got it right. But no. So she goes back out, boom, does another left, just a jab. She gets hit, she quits. She says, that's it, I can't fight. This person just hurt me really badly with 2 little jabs. And that person went on to very easily win the gold medal. There was another person who transitioned, Uncle Sam also. Different country, transitioned, different weight class, transitioned, won the gold medal. So you had 2 people that transitioned, both happened to win the gold medal. Is anybody surprised by that? These people are sick. And you know what? It's so demeaning to women, when you think of it. We will defend the Second Amendment, protect religious liberty, and restore free speech, and we will secure our election. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. And we must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. You must get out and vote. You have to get out and vote. Everyone here, promise me I'll vote. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. They can't do anything about it. At a certain level, there's not a thing. They cheat like dogs. They cheat so badly. People say, oh, it's a terrible thing to say. The people that know exactly what I'm talking about. You know who knows better than anybody else? Democrat leaders. Those are the ones. On November 5th, it will be considered, you watch, the most important day in the history of our country. We will save our economy. We will save our country on November 5th. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country together. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you, Pennsylvania. America great.
All right, so he closed the speech, and he's playing the village people again. So no Nessum Dorma tonight. Tonight he went through the village people. Young man. So anyway, got a couple of things I want to go over real quick. I know it's late, so I'll be quick with this. First of all, thank you all for coming in here. Amazing. Thank you, guys. I know some of you had heard many of his speeches before. You're like me. You've seen many of his rallies. There's something special going on that I had to put a note down. And that note that I wrote to myself here is that the home stretch is on. And he's obviously increased his energy. He's increased how he's delivering these speeches. They're longer than they were earlier, and he's able to somehow keep his energy level up throughout the entire speech, even though much of it he has said before. So, when he goes off teleprompter, that gives him the ability to basically say some new things and interject there. But he's hitting his points hard every single time, and I absolutely love it. Here's why I love it. We know there's some independents that are sitting on the fence. There may be some independents that are in here in this chat right now. The Trump supporters ain't going anywhere. That's locked in. That base is locked in. The nuts on the left, they're all locked in. So right now, both Kamala and Trump are having to fight for basically the middle, and what people in the middle may still be looking to decide where they're going to take their vote. If you're undecided, if you're on the fence, and you're trying to see which way you should go, the contrast of these two people speaking is quite clear. It's absolutely quite clear. So as he walks off, a lot of young guys around him. I don't know who those guys are, but as you can see, I always like to see him get off stage safely. And there he goes. Come on, turn around one more time, give the thumbs up. Great speech tonight. Man feeds off the crowds. Absolutely feeds off of these crowds, which, every entertainer does. Every entertainer that goes on tour feeds off the crowd. That's how you deliver your show. And there he goes. All right, great. So he's done. He's backstage. He's safe. Man, he's eating it up. He's letting everybody know. Thank you for showing up. Just the way I do. Thank you for showing up and watching today. All right, go ahead, get off stage. Let us know you're safe. And there he goes. All right. So what I'm saying is, if you're an independent and you're on the fence right now, you're not really sure which I've heard so much about Kamala. I know about Trump. Who's best for me? If you weren't a Trump fan and you just happen to see these two people speak, who would you want? You know this woman has already been vice president for 3.5 years. You know what situation you're in. And you know what life was like 3.5 years ago. There is no comparison. In addition to that, what time is it? It's 9:29. He went on stage at about 7:45, so he delivered a long speech. Hit all his points. I noticed when people were listening to him talk about President Xi of China, Xi, and they were talking about how come they don't have any problems over there, is because they just waste, they take the drug dealers and take them out. And some people are like, that's a little bit harsh. Is it? Think of all the problems that happen because of drug sales. We got to do something strong. Obviously, in our country, that would never happen. They are never, ever, ever, ever would they allow for the death penalty for drug sales. Ain't going to happen. But we do need some sort of harsh penalty for anyone who does something that involves the death of somebody. much of drug dealing is based upon consumption. Somebody wants to do this, they're going to look for a place to buy it. But if they're looking to buy it and they're looking to do a transaction, you shouldn't die because of your transaction. And if you do, then the drug dealer needs to take the dirt nap. That's how I feel. If you cause the death of somebody either by violence or basically out there peddling crap, you deserve to go away. I love that he hit on the topic of baby disposal. And he basically said what I've been telling you. They have one issue. That's it. That's the entire closing message that Kamala has. Nothing else she says makes any sense. Nothing else she says is hitting the people. The only thing she has that she's trying to hammer home, actually two things. One of them's fake and the other one is real. She keeps trying to do Project 2025 over and over and over again. That ain't going to matter. Everybody knows that's BS. However, everybody does know that the baby disposal business is what's first a matter of priority to the left. It is a religion. They feel that is the most important thing for them. We don't. So that's bottom line. You want to have unlimited baby removal while paying higher taxes, higher insurance, higher gas, higher food. If that's the only thing that matters to you, then he'll lose some of those votes. But I'm pretty sure most people with families and living their lives would like to have a comfortable life over baby removal. Just how I look at it. Tomorrow he has a speech, and the speech is in North Carolina. It's in Mint Hill, North Carolina. Don't know what it is. It's a 12:30 speech. Many of you probably won't be able to make it to tomorrow at 12:30. I'll be broadcasting it live at 12:30 tomorrow. If you miss it, go ahead and basically hit up on the replay. So I think I've covered everything. Let me take a few comments here. Barry, the death penalty should include Big Pharma. They're drug dealers who kill the most. Yeah, I think we need to do something about that. They're so disgusting. DOJ, what? DOJ released, what did they release? Oh yeah, I talked about that in my video earlier today about letting everybody know there was a bounty. There was something else released today that is, to me, as sick and disgusting as that letter from Ralph. Jack Smith and I'd have to say Merrick Garland at this point, won't let go of trying to push this January 6th thing. They still think that this January 6th stuff is a winner for them. And so we know that the Supreme Court basically slapped them down. So what he's doing in the court, he's getting ready to release a 180-page brief, which outlines all the stuff that he wants to prosecute Trump for. It's going nowhere. It's dead in the water. All it is for the media to pick up and run with and say, oh, Trump did this, Trump did that. So over the next couple days, expect to hear all kinds of news about what was in this 180-page brief of Jack Smith's. It's funny because Kamala Harris keeps saying we're never going back, except if it has to do with Trump and something legal. That's just what they're doing. FDA, that's right, Barry hasn't done the Trump dance. I'm gonna do the Trump dance. I told you my wife wasn't feeling well. I will definitely do it. Let's see here. Anything else we can go over? Rock Barry, great show. Thank you. I'm glad I keep two feeds running because that one feed went down and I was seamlessly able to go to the other feed and thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lord, for that. We need independents to vote down ballot also. If Dems take our Congress, they will destroy everything just like stopping the SAVE Act. Absolutely. Absolutely. We need the J6 is so disgusting. Here comes X. Last attempt by the Dems. They're going to try everything. I mean, they've got 30, 40 days, and they're going to try and do everything they possibly can to try and mess things up. So just to let you know, it dropped tonight. While you might have been here or eating dinner, Jack Smith is putting a 180-page brief outlining in detail all of the crimes that he wants to basically enforce on Donald Trump. Even though the Supreme Court said, no, you can't. no, he has immunity. Jack Smith doesn't care, and he's outlining all this stuff in a brief. And so MSNBC and CNN and everybody else is going to pick up with this thing because their nuts don't realize it's moot. Nothing can happen. It is merely a legal propaganda device that they're trying to stain Trump with again. Obviously, they're going for the independents too. Try to label Trump such a bad guy when all he's got to say tomorrow or whenever is, I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court said I was immune from it. So why are we even talking about it? You see, because he's not doing this debate or hasn't agreed to do this debate, they're going to flail. They are going to flail around. They're going to throw everything they can, including the kitchen sink at Trump at this point. They have to. They have nothing else to do. Her numbers are tanking by the day. The media is starting to release the true numbers. And now you can see this guy's got momentum. There was another event in Pennsylvania today in Reading where Jack Posobiec, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones was at. And that was sold out as well. So they're hitting Pennsylvania hard, really hard. As I've told you about X, people are all over X destroying Kamala Harris. Every time she posts something, they're ripping her to shreds. I just saw something. Oh, listen to this one. This is pretty interesting. See if I can't find it because it goes so fast. But it came out that she is spending $5 million a day more than what Trump is. She's trying to flood the zone everywhere. On my videos, anybody else's videos, on the NFL games, she's burning through cash. Not realizing that nobody really gives a shit. Nope. We're watching an NFL game. I don't care about your Kamala Harris commercial. She's burning through it. I know some of you guys complain and say Kamala's running ads on your channel. Let her. Click on it. No, I didn't mean that. Let her run ads. Let her burn through her money. She's desperate. They've got nothing left. She's acting like a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. Yeah, and all her people are the same way. Barry, you were the best. I try and catch you live. I can't watch the replay. Good, thank you very much. We love that graph. Still not skill. Bottom line, Trump is best for America. Bottom line. Absolutely. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Unless you are such a purple-haired freak, sort of like Trump was tonight with the lighting. That was pretty funny. But all they care about is baby removal. And I'm thinking to myself, threat to democracy, baby removal, I'm like, you're not talking to the American public. You're talking to a subset of nuts. And unfortunately, in this country right now, we are pretty much split down the middle. There's such a chasm right now where it's hard to get to that 51% because so many people, we're dug in. We are absolutely dug in, but you know what? If there was somebody better than Trump that could show that they had a better idea on making, we would listen. Every single one of us would lean in and go, okay, so tell me what you want to do. What do you want to do? But over there, it's like, I don't want to hear it. I got to take care of dispose of babies. When he got done tonight, one of the things he hadn't said before, and at least I don't remember, he said tonight, have babies. Have lots of babies. Have babies. That just makes their skin crawl. It absolutely drives them crazy that people would be looking to breed and bring more air breathers and food consumers into this world. To them, that's a no-no. Don't do that. We don't want you to have a family. We need to destroy the nuclear family. They don't even want you calling mamas. It's not a mama, it's a birthing person. No, that's a mother. I don't care what you say. That is a mother. That is a father. You can take that birthing person stuff and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. You are not going to continue to take our language hostage. I think what's really freaking him out is because Elon Musk, and hopefully these guys eventually, is They can't stop us from speaking. At this point, I've done so many videos where I've used code words. You know what I'm talking about. If I say baby disposal or baby removal, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're finding ways to communicate even though we can't say the actual word. We're done. I'm done with your DEI crap telling us what we can and can't say. You can't say the word what they are. You got to call them newcomers or, immigrants. No, they're not immigrants. It must really tick her off that there's no more debate. Yeah. At this point, she could do it. I'm sure Trump would easily say, sure, let's do it on X. Like I said yesterday, let's have Tucker and Rogan and Elon moderate. Would you do it? No chance. She has to go into safety mode. She never wants to play an away game. It's like at the NFL having a team that doesn't ever want to go on the road. They only want to play home games. Sort of like the Chiefs. Never mind, won't go there. It's just crazy. Happy birthing person day. Yeah, they're hurting Hallmark. Crazy, absolutely crazy. No baby removals in the Philippines. I did not know that. So language control is wrong. Yeah, we have a dictionary. We have a vocabulary. And you're telling people that you can't say the words because somebody might get offended. I'm over it. That's why they don't want us to go back. That's her catchphrase. Yeah, I want to go back to where we could talk about things and everybody's feelings weren't hurt. I think that's just a ruse to try and get us to just eradicate our language and basically control. Obama's version of Ebonics, yeah. Enoch says, thank you, Barry and Ashley and the mods for get well soon, Mrs. C. I will see everyone tomorrow. Good night and God bless. Stay safe for everyone. Oh, that's another one. Yeah. I have pronouns. Yeah, I have pronouns. It's F-U-Q and me and you. F-U-Q. You know what that stands for. Yeah, exactly. I will not use them if I'm in a restaurant, somebody goes, "Oh, you called me, your dad named me." I just get up and leave. I don't want to spend money in that restaurant. No, that ain't gonna happen. Why would Trump debate Harris again? No, no need to. Don't need to. Whatever. So let me go ahead and acknowledge some amazing, absolutely amazing donations theonight, which blew me away, actually. So let me just do that real quick before we go. Where's my page? Okay, so it's this one, and okay, you guys are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Where's that? Okay, and first person I want to recognize right off the bat is Mr. or Mrs. I'm not really sure. Where'd it go? I clicked off it. Gasworks. Way to go, Barry. Keep up the good work. Congratulations on 300,000. Huge. Thank you, Mr. or Miss Gaswork. Really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Now we'll go through the rest. Ryan, thank you. Joe Menta and Scamala are disgraced. Yes, they are. Tim Allred. Oh, wait a minute. I'm at the bottom. Let me go back to the top. I always forget to scroll. Okay, Tim Allred. Kamala Orez. No, it's Kamala Harris. Big Cat, doing amazing work. Truly dedicated to the people. I appreciate that. Tessie Ledoux, thank you. Jonathan Manson, still time to go paper ballot counts in Arizona. No voting until October 9th. Anyone watching from Arizona, please email or call the state legislator to switch. Great. Donna Peoples, Laura Loomer is great on X. Thanks, the ABC store. Yeah, there are a lot. You know what? There's so many good people you should be following on X that you'll never really hear a lot of them on. Well, most of them aren't on the news. They've created their own little fandom because they dig and dig and dig and dig. And some of them you wouldn't even ever hear of. I think I'm going to put together a list so I can share that. Marcus Anderson, thank you. They have sold their souls with no refunds. 808 Pineapple, thank you, bro. Haven't seen you in a while. Great job, Barry. Thank you for the information. Michael Nace, thank you. Indigo, thanks for your insight, Barry. You're my favorite guy to listen to. I appreciate that. I really do. JC, remember when everyone laughed at Trump for wanting to build a wall and now everyone's concerned about the border? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, we all remember. Thank you. Moko Jr., Harrison Walsh campaign of joy. Google strike the joy and look what comes up. Oh, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine Googling what you found. That's too funny. Found out today Trump will be in Michigan on Friday. Yes, he will be. Tim Allred, thank you. Marcus again, the Democrat mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan, endorsed Trump. He's not just a Democrat mayor. He's a Muslim Democrat mayor. We found out last night. Tim Allred again, thank you. Someone needs to tell Kamala day one was 1,700 days ago. A.M. Jimenez, Trump should offer a $200,000 reward for information, arrest, and conviction of an assassination plot on his life. Interesting. Just another knucklehead. Thanks for coming back. Maybe FISA intel collection on his telephone comms is the leak. We know they're finding some information. Steel Reigns, speaking of Kamala's heritage, nobody going to talk about the Hamilton Brown, one of the biggest plantation slave owners in Jamaica history. Never heard that. Kurt Vance, thank you. Pao Zhao Li, hey, welcome back. Someone in the Secret Service has Trump scheduled in advance. Yes, they do. Notice that today they announced the Butler thing in October, and that guy said he had the schedule for August, September, and October. And earlier I told you there was nothing yet released about October. Well, something got released. Did he know? Mitch Kinney, I was watching RSBN and they said Trump had stopped at a grocery store and bought groceries for moms. Oh my God, I hope I can get those videos. That's phenomenal. Brenda Ross, thank you. TB, thank you. Wayne Spence, thank you. Stephanie Nicole, who accepts a box from a stranger and didn't open it? Exactly. This guy was more than just some acquaintance. Hey, hold on to this box while I go try to kill the president. Bruce Langworth and my wife grew up in Kensington. Crazy how it went downhill. Like I said earlier, it's very simple. You can just type in zombies, Kensington, Philadelphia, and you will be shocked at what comes up. Mark Pointer, is the $150,000 bounty for Trump an unrealized gain on Harris's tax proposal? Good point. TV. Barry, didn't you hear the female agent in North Carolina that took her baby and walked away from her post to breastfeed her baby? This is all on purpose. Yeah, she just happened to saunter away. Silver Voyage, thank you. John Parr, I'm really concerned about a drone attack on Trump. I hope that Trump's security team has thought of that. So if you've never been to a Trump rally, and even if you saw Butler, Pennsylvania, there was two. There may be more at this point, but there's a pair of sniper teams right above his head or someplace in close proximity. When he came down here to Florida two times, Robin and I went to one of his rallies, they are right there. So if something comes flying over, it's going to get taken out pretty quick. The reason why it didn't get done in Butler is because somebody dropped the ball. I doubt that ball will be dropped any further in that regard. I'm worried about other stuff. I'm worried about surface-to-air missiles, things of that nature. Tom Adelstein, she'll never get a vote in the hood. New documentary exposes Kamala's prosecutorial targeting of black people and destroying their lives. Been telling you. Nobody wants to address that. How's she going to make up the numbers in the blacks and the Hispanics? Nikki 33, Barry, has Trump ever reached out to you? No, not lately. B. Michael Nass, those are the beings that they get their technology advancement from Barry. Michael Capetta, thank you. Miko Rod again, do you think Big Mike was at Pete Diddy's? I can't mention Big Mike. Well, kind of just did, but you know what I mean. Sophia Birthworks. You should start off topic channel on Rumble or BitChute where I can discuss things freely. I'm thinking about doing it on Twitter, but it takes a lot of work because one of the things that people do, they'll simulcast, they'll put the same live stream on Twitter as they do on YouTube, but then that would defeat the purpose because then I still couldn't say the stuff on YouTube. So I'd have to do a separate live stream on Twitter, X. Michael Capetta, thank you. Michael Rod, thank you again. From this point on, will these rallies actually help Trump with the voting? As I was mentioning, at this point, you can tell his energy, and I think he's trying to sell the independents. Because a lot of stuff he's talking about now would make sense to an independent. When you hear the content of what he's saying, he's not going... He didn't really go much after her other than saying she's stupid. And the taxes, and the unrealized capital gains. That hits people, doesn't matter where you are. If you're an investor, if you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, and people start saying they're going to take 25, 30, 40% of your unrealized capital gains, that bankrupts you. You're done. So independents hearing that message, she can't defend it. Understand? So that's something he can say right down the middle. Hey, listen, are you okay with this? Well, hold your nose and vote for me. Elon Musk needs to buy YouTube. Yeah, I believe that as well. Barry, I need training on X. Okay. Severo Flores, we should focus on one target to repost on X every live show, spreading truth and awareness. Good point. Mark Cologne, Kamala's voters are barking moon bats. Exactly. Debbie Etheridge, Trump, thank you, Barry. Chris Ricks, thank you very much. Thanks for the great shows. You're welcome. Joseph McDowell, thank you. Tommy Radcliffe, this is a great man, historic when he wins Mount Rushmore. Yeah. Low Dog, far and away, this is the best Trump speech this year. And we said that he's building. He's building to a crescendo. And you can just see the look on his face, man. I don't know what he's doing. Kind of vitamins or B12 he's hitting up, but he's got the energy. I think he's seeing the numbers. I think he's seeing the polls at this point, the internal things, and he's like, I got this. I just got to close it out at this point. I just got to run to the finish line, and we got this, guys. Fernando, please keep up your good work. Barry, thank you. Bless you, too. Superfast 420, thank you. John Zeller, God bless you for what you're doing. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Ray Smith, hello, Barry. Thank you for all you do. Keep us in a loop 2 to 3 lives a day. It can be tough, but I always look at it, and I told Robin, if this 78-year-old man can get out there and kick butt, yeah, I can do it too. B. Michael Nace, thank you again. Bring back the gallows. Superfast again, thank you. Trump for the world. Scott Clemens, Albany, New York is hopeless. Too many government workers. Yep. Anthony Solomon, thanks for the show. You're very welcome. Susan Louderback, thank you, Barry. I look forward to watching daily. I feel so comfortable listening to you. You make complete sense. Thank you. Ryan, thank you. Jamenta, oh, that's one I read before. Tim Allred, I'm an American independent. All right, Tim, go get some more independents and get them in the house. The force protection around Trump is not sufficient. Pray. And Susie Bonham, let her pretend that he's there and let CNN cover it. Yeah, that's about all she's got at this point, is to do a fake debate, and hopefully, again, people in the middle who can see what's going on can obviously tell this is the home stretch. This is what it's all about. And at this point, she's got nothing. They're doing a hide and seek. They're trying to do the rope-a-dope and trying to hide. But at this point, you saw earlier when I talked about CNN, and CNN is now asking questions. What are you talking about? When people say, are you better off now or 3 or 4 years ago? And they won't answer that question. Do you realize, those of you who have kids probably already do realize that when you won't answer that question, you're pretty much answering it. You're pretty much telling everybody, yeah, they were better then, but we just need you to trust us. We'll make your life even better. Sure you will. So, in any event, I want to thank all of you that tuned in tonight. I think it was a great rally. I'm happy that he was able to do this. I'm happy every time we go through one of these rallies and he gets away healthy. That's the biggest thing with me. He gets away healthy, and he's able to fight another day, because they want him gone. They want this man gone. So pray for him every single day. Let everybody know this guy is ready to run. He's ready to take this thing. And then also, like I've said to you, be ready. If he wins, when he wins, they're going to go absolutely bat poop crazy. Those of you who live in the cities or close to a city, it might get squirrely. Start preparing now. It's only 40 days left for you to prepare as well. Get the plywood. Do whatever you need to do. There's a Cat 4 hurricane off the coast, and it's coming. Make no doubt about it. I don't know if you guys saw what was happening in Philadelphia. Let me see if I can just give you guys a little taste real quick on what happened in Philadelphia today, because it's what they want for the rest of the country. Let me see if I can. All right, so let me pull this up and just show you guys this real quick. This isn't Beirut. This isn't any country over there. This is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the so-called battleground state. And it's a frickin' war zone. Look at this madness. These people have lost it. Now just imagine that happening all across the country simultaneously. It is imperative that you're ready. I can't tell you enough. Don't wait. When he wins on November 5th or November 6th, whenever they're done counting, that's coming to wherever you live. Maybe not your specific community, but the city near where you are. Just be ready. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow at 12:30. Get some rest. Love you guys. Thanks to the